Sports Star, your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio Sports Center.
The Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas as the two sides agreed to mutually part ways. It's not me, it's you. The search begins. McCarthy set to interview, it appears, with the Saints and the Bears. The Cowboys have Kellen Moore as a name to watch, according to Ian Rappaport. In the NFL, the Vikings fell to the Los Angeles Rams 27-9 in what was a lackluster wild-card weekend completion. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm AJ, joined, as almost always, by Mr. Rob Thompson. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, good morning, sir. Almost always.
How you doing, Bubba?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I like your half-zip vest.
I'm slicked up today.
Well, yeah.
I'm seeing people. I'm seeing folks.
Oh, yes.
I got company. I got people.
Think about that when you put on a vest. Now fancying myself up here.
I'm slicking up, honey.
That's how I do it.
Put on a
vest
my
with
Sunday vest?
Vest with my blue jeans. That's pretty San Antonio right there, Bubba. Yeah. Put on.
Well, I probably wouldn't have ordinarily worn the vest, but it was cold this morning, man.
You need a sport coat, right? That's all he's missing is a sport coat.
I don't have very many sport coats.
I don't see very many sport coats in this town, honestly.
I'm not. I never have been. Well, I used to be a sport coat guy over a suit, but I don't have any.
At the courthouse, maybe.
I don't. Yeah, I don't wear suits. I endeavored my entire professional career not to have to wear a tie ever again.
That's a good. It's a good rule of thumb.
I spent a fair amount of time in one, and I don't know.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Makes you have to shave your neck all the time.
I used to like the jeans and sport coat look.
Yeah.
It's not a bad look, but here it's too hot.
Yeah.
So we just don't do it.
Well, what do you got
I got a meeting.
Push around some money, huh?
I gotta go,
You guys put a bid on Quinn Ewers or what?
We did. I gotta go. I'm on a coaching search committee. I've got to go. I gotta go meet some.
Good morning, Victor. How you doing, Bubba?
I'm doing good.
How's your sugars today?
Oh, it's perfect this morning.
Oh, really? Yeah.
91.
91,
that's
baby.
Great. Good
what,
for you.
So, do you know? Can you tell ahead of time? Like, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, because of my eyesight.
So you can tell if you can read.
Look,
the
I
dial.
could see you clear right now without my glasses. That's how I know it's good. When it's
I
high,
can see clearly
you're
now.
blurry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really? That's crazy, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
then
how long does it take to go from blurry to normal? Like if you were getting blurry, would you have to
about
eat an
2
orange?
hours. I just
2
drink,
hours. Oh.
drink a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water.
And
So
then
it's the opposite.
walk. Yeah.
If
So-
it's blurry, do you need sugar or you have too much?
No, I have too much.
You have too much.
So 91 is
That's perfect.
That's the sweet spot. What's too high? Like what's the number where you start to go, that's not good.
140 or
Oh,
higher.
yeah, that's a long
Okay.
way.
What's the highest you've measured at?
800.
Oh man. And what happens when you're at 800?
I was in the ER.
Oh
Ooh,
man.
that's bad.
Do you think my sugar levels ever get to 800?
No.
No.
Never?
No.
I think you have a fully functioning pancreas.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because the alcohol that you drink, like on a daily basis, you would have found out.
On a daily basis, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, help me out
on
here.
a near hourly basis.
On a semi.
No,
that
On a semi.
a semi-daily basis.
Yeah, see? Oh, yeah, I need some for the coffee. Hold on.
It'll top that thing off. Daily.
No, but yeah, that's why I never really drank to begin with, but the doctor said that it was good that I didn't, because that would have been a whole other issue.
Really?
Yeah.
What if you just drink straight booze?
He
Like, can you?
like if I just like I said like
just like
before.
distilled
Well, I
liquor.
think clear liquor is what you can drink,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I just drink vodka, either Ciroc or Grey Goose on the rocks.
He's dropping
and then,
brands.
No.
Very
Un-
fancy.
No
with the
juice,
Ciroc.
no juices or anything, just straight with water.
Okay. Now, you don't drink now, Ciroc is the Diddy vodka. Do you still drink that now that Diddy's a diddler?
I don't care, but that's the one liquor that doesn't give me a headache.
You support it then is what you're saying.
I support not having a headache.
Okay. You know what'll give you a headache?
What?
Baby oil and
10 minutes alone
roofies.
with Diddy.
Yeah, but who cares?
Roofies and baby oil.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up with something aching.
As long as I don't have a headache, that's the one I go for. But any other, like the cheaper vodkas,
Vic's going to wake up next to Diddy and be like, at least I don't have a headache.
yeah, that's right, buddy.
Bieber went to those parties and came back singing an octave higher. I don't know why. He can sing higher now.
My lower back hurts. I don't know why, but I don't have a headache.
But I don't have a
My
headache.
head feels fine. And ooh, boy.
Diddy, I can see you clearly from here.
Yeah.
I'm running about
My
90.
sugar's good.
This is good vodka.
Telling you.
Oh, Diddy.
Stuff I got to go through.
Diddy, did you slip any sugar in my vodka?
Yeah, that was sugar.
You told me it was sweet.
Yeah,
I
that
feel
was
like
sugar.
I'm passing out right now.
Yeah, that was sugar. My friend Kaz gave me this stuff. This is sugar.
My sugar levels are.
Yeah, that's how
Will Ferrell. Get out of here, man. You're crazy.
You're crazy, man.
Get out of here.
Oh. Diddy, you remember that song you did with Mace?
Baby oil.
Why are you moving so slow, Diddy?
And there was one time my sugar was so high, it was so high that the meter wouldn't read it.
What?
Yeah.
It just says ER.
It actually
911.
said this sample's too high for this meter. You need to, get another meter.
Damn.
That was like years ago, but yeah, that's what got me on the track of watching diet and
That
eating
sucks.
tacos once a month. That's why we don't get tacos as often.
I know.
We can't kill our producer.
Nope.
I know. It is disappointing. I do love tacos.
In the manual, it says don't feed the
give
producer.
Yeah, tortillas.
And Edwin's not
Tortillas.
here on Tuesdays, so we can't get him anyway today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I was gonna have my wife bring him by. I was gonna see what she's up to.
I'm still dealing with these
What do you got?
paper cuts
Jeez, what?
Well,
that
Well,
I'm
what
telling you,
happened?
they're on my thumbs. And it's like you don't realize.
How many do you have?
I've got one on each thumb and one on this index
I
finger.
can't imagine this is an occupational hazard. This has to be a one-off occurrence.
It is. I mean,
I've
I
never
played with
heard
cheap cards.
of somebody
Having paper cuts from
going
cards,
and
right?
playing a day's worth of cards and coming back with
I'm telling you, man.
cut up hands.
It's crazy. And like
You're gonna have to wear gloves.
taking
I
my,
know, right?
Are you allowed to wear gloves?
I'm sure you are. But I like taking the lid off my toothpaste tube this morning. I was like, ow.
You don't have the pop cap?
No.
I find the screw-off cap annoying.
I have a.
Yeah, I have a pop. I use
I
Colgate,
use the
think.
pop cap.
See, my wife gets me this very fancy toothpaste that
I don't care how fancy it is. If I can't put the cap back on,
Oh, you'll lose the cap.
yeah, I'm messing around with it.
I put the cap on before I start brushing my teeth.
Well, what are you doing with the toothbrush?
I mean,
You're holding the toothbrush,
yeah,
and you're putting the cap back on.
yeah.
Well, sometimes that's a little bit much in the morning. I like the cap. I just pop it, bam, gone.
Or-
I'm moving on.
I put the toothbrush in my mouth
Ooh.
and then do that.
Ugh.
Oh,
What's
as
wrong
you're
with
br-
that?
Oh.
Right before
The
you brush.
toothbrush goes in
that's
your
weird.
mouth.
Oh. Not until the appropriate time. Any earlier, it's all wrong.
That's crazy. It's absurd what you're saying.
He got real defensive, didn't he?
Anyway,
Yeah.
But I do prefer the pop cap. I just
Okay.
don't like screwing that thing back on. I don't know why.
yeah. Well, I don't. I wish I had a pop cap now.
See?
I wish I was using plebe
You're
toothpaste.
gonna have to toughen up, man. You have
I'm just not built for- I'm
Obviously,
not
you're
built
not
for
doing
this
enough
life.
outdoor labor if your hands are being cut up by your playing cards. I'm not.
I'm not built for that. Isn't it
You're-
funny? I used to work on an oil rig. I was a
Dude, now-
roughneck.
You're
I was,
you're
an
buds.
I was an infantryman, and I worked on
Yes.
an oil rig.
Look at what happened to it.
And then I fought for money, and now
And
I'm like,
now
Your
you're
hands are getting cut up by
my
playing
paper
cards.
cuts.
All right, underpants.
Oh,
my
poor fingies.
Oh,
Stealing the cards too
Yeah.
hard.
I've gone soft, man. I've been doing this radio thing for too long.
Hey,
I've
this
gone
card's
Yeah.
got
soft.
this card's got blood on it.
Soft. SAWFT.
oh, that's what they wanted.
soft.
They wanted a
Hey,
DNA
Taylor,
sample.
little-
That's why.
Oh,
they
that's
did
what
it.
it was.
No, the dealer's throwing cards
I'll
at him.
probably be arrested in the next month or two. It's going to come back on me.
Hey, so those cards are probably sharp enough to like cut a cucumber.
Well,
in
I've
half
seen those reels of dudes that can
they can
slit
fling
your
a
throat
card.
with the ace of spades.
Certainly. Yeah, I saw a video yesterday of which, by the way, let me remind everyone here, we are going to talk about the Cowboys. I don't like to
Is there news about the Cowboys?
Yeah, there's some big news for the Dallas Cowboys. I promise we're going to talk about it in the next segment. I had to get some stuff off my chest.
We're allowed to roll into this.
But I saw a video that I watched. I mean, the video lasted like 2 minutes, and I watched the entire thing. Normally, if it's like I'm out in like 15, 20 seconds, but this one was very funny. It was
the Jerry Jones.
No, this
wife.
had nothing to do with sports.
Oh, okay.
No, this was.
There's interesting things outside of sports.
Yes, like I was going back to the playing cards, cutting fingers off and stuff. These women were doing this terrible thing to men where they were sleeping, and they would put like a sausage or a hot dog in like on their crotch and snip it with the scissors and wake them up and snip it, and they would like their panic in their mind would be like, oh my God. And I watched that video for 2 minutes, and then I watched went into the next video.
I wasn't sure if that was real or not. Would that get you?
I like to think it wouldn't, but I don't know. I don't know where my mind would go.
You got a guilty damn conscience if you wake up and you think your wife's about to cut it off, or whoever the significant other is about to grab it and cut it off. You've done something.
Now, the video that one led into was one where guys were carrying, like, if you were asleep, and I would rub a sausage on your face and then put it in your mouth,
and then you see a guy zip up.
And then I'm carrying around like a sausage, like like a kielbasa sausage.
Oh, okay.
While you're sleeping, and I like rub it around in your mouth and your lips, and then as you start to wake up, I hide the sausage and pull my zipper up. And you're like, what the hell happened here? And they're like, dudes are fighting over this. It's like,
Thank God I don't go to. I'm glad I don't go to trips with
Why'd
you guys.
you shoot him? Officer? Officer, I'm just going to tell you the whole story. You decide whether he needed shooting or not.
Is that what you did to Minix and Joe when you were at the training camp?
No,
when you all shared the room.
Well, yes, but I didn't have any sausages, so I just.
You had to do with what you had.
Yeah, all I could do was work with what I had.
And Minix was all, there was a bunch of bugs last night. Man, I don't know.
Give him the old mushroom stamp.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes. Oh, what a classy show we've got here for you guys. Well, let's get into this Cowboys news. Let's dig into it because there's a lot to unpack here. This is about as shocking. I don't even know what it's not shocking at all.
No, I'm about to say, in hindsight, it ain't shocking.
It's not.
But
it did. You know what? I was a little surprised because, like I said last week, when they shut down McCarthy, I said, oh, well, maybe they've got something figured out. But Mike McCarthy, no longer the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about that next. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you head into your early morning commute, Loop 410 westbound Morrison got a disabled vehicle that's off to the shoulder. Minor crash at the intersection of Wurzbach Parkway at Starcrest. It is taking up a right lane. I-10 westbound at Heebner, disabled vehicle that's off to the shoulder. And ongoing road work continues. 35 upper level. Southbound that connector to get onto westbound I-10. This road work has the roadway reduced to one lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Is health or fitness a goal this year? Great news. The King of Paddle has arrived in San Antonio with 8 pickleball and 6 paddle courts. Their indoor facility suits all skill levels from beginners to seasoned players. Mark your calendar for their January 18th and 19th winter tournament. Find details at thekingofpaddle.com or at the King of Paddle SA on social media. Visit their new downtown location at 314 Nolan Street or check out the new King of Paddle facility with us this Thursday as we broadcast the Blitz live from 2 to 6.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Now's the time to shop limited-time doorbuster deals during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Save $50 on a Little Giant King Combo 6-foot ladder. Was $199, now $149. Plus, save $100 on a DeWalt XR 20-volt Power Stack 5 amp-hour battery. Was $199, now $99. Get these can't-miss deals now before they're gone. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Doorbusters valid 1/13 through 1/15. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, the celebration for the Houston Texans continues. Indy Kalu will have something to say about that.
He joins us at 3:35 with Mike McCarthy officially out in Dallas. What's next for the Cowboys? We'll have the latest rumor mill.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Paper cut fever. All right, the Dallas Cowboys will have a new head coach. I don't know who it is. No one knows who it is.
Oh, someone knows.
Someone knows something. But they're not going to tell us today.
No one knows. I don't think there's anybody that is clear cut.
This is pretty. I'll say this. I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little surprised because I thought that by telling Mike McCarthy, no, we don't want you talking to other teams, that, and again, this is what I get for just assuming this is a normal franchise, that means they're going to work something out with McCarthy.
Well, I think at that time, I can't imagine that over Jerry's long history that he's ever done anything like this to somebody on purpose. Because this seems deliberate. Like, not only I'm not going to let you talk to anybody, and I'm going to do it even to my own detriment. You know what? I'm even going to screw myself.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like he did him pretty damn dirty.
So I can't imagine it's that bad. I just feel like there was, and then the reports that there was no significant movement, that's not to say there wasn't a contract offer. They were just saying there was no movement late.
Right.
So I just can't imagine how it got to here. But however we got here we sit. And you got a coach that was forced to sit on the sidelines. And now we don't care about that. That's jettisoned weight. That's old news. McCarthy is the past. But what you did do, Jerry, is okay, you decided to move on. But while this was going on, unless you were secretly interviewing, and I'm pretty sure if you were, we'd have found out.
Right.
The name would have dropped if you were calling Vrabel and interviewing all those guys. That's one thing. But it appears that you weren't. So you just, if it was you were angry at him and you decided to screw him, and I'll wait because I'm the Dallas Cowboys. You once again, you screwed yourself. It's your team. You could fire McCarthy. There's plenty of reasons why. But there were so many reasons to keep him that I can't imagine that over this last week there weren't any more progressive discussions other than, what? I mean, how did we get here?
Yeah, it's just,
So here we sit.
It feels borderline irresponsible the way that it went. Because not only did it hurt, like I said, this hurt Mike McCarthy's chances to get a new job, but it also hurt the Cowboys' chances of getting.
Unless there were secret negotiations, but I can't imagine there was, or we'd have heard about it. Those things just don't stay quiet if you're talking to enough people. Now, the Deion name came up really quick, and the Witten. I mean, I think there were probably some that were close to him that were angling for the job.
I'm sure.
That probably called about it.
And I'm sure he's had if he's had a conversation, it's been a back channel conversation with
amongst friends,
with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, amongst thems that he knows, that can trust that it won't drop, and probably agents aren't involved or something like that. It's a phone call real quick. But I can't imagine he's done enough due diligence to make the firing and go, here's my next interview, and this is the guy I'm going to hire. We're not there yet. There's not. I can't imagine there's a guy waiting in the wings that he's going to announce today. Because there's so many different ways to go. And every time you talk with somebody different, they bring up a name where you go, maybe.
But what you did do by waiting is you've taken chess pieces off the board. You've taken one chess piece off the board in Mike Vrabel, which I think was kind of the
imminent that he was going to New England anyway.
I should say you've perhaps taken two, because if the reports are true that Bill Belichick was like kind of hoping that the Cowboys job would open, which I don't know if I fully believe.
Well, I will tell you this. I do know for a fact that Belichick still has an out in his contract by May. So if that's a possibility, and that would be one of those conversations that wouldn't have made the front page if it was had. So I just don't think that's it. But now it would make more sense than this time last year.
Sure.
So it's an amazing thing that Jerry has worked himself into this, despite what we believe to be hindering his search. I don't think it's going to slow anything down for him, and I think he realizes that this is, of all the jobs that are open, despite himself and his own ego thinking it's the best, it kind of is.
Well, and the other, I think the best job was New England.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's now gone, and the imminent choice was probably gone anyway. So now he's got a little bit of hand. He's got a little bit of, okay, my job's open, and let's come and talk to me. Come kiss the ring.
But also, we have to remember that Jerry doesn't really pay top dollar for coaches. I don't think you're good.
No, but I think you feel like as the agent, you could probably get it. So it's willing to get a conversation going. You know what I mean?
The other thing that he's done by waiting is, while every team last week, with the exception of the Patriots, interviewed Aaron Glenn, the Cowboys didn't. And now the Cowboys can't until the Lions are eliminated, which who knows what. I mean, they might be in the Super Bowl.
That'd be a month.
Same with Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Can't talk to him now.
Which I think they're extraneous candidates both. So, you have hamstrung yourself.
You lucked out, because now if you want to talk, I don't think Brian Flores is for this job. This is.
I think we need to go down like any job search. You have your dream candidates, you have your possibles, and then you have your guaranteed interviews. You've got a list of dudes you know you can talk to. But who are the guys that you'd like to pry loose? Who are the guys that might have an out, that you might want to contact a friend or an agent or somebody that knows in the circle? You go, what's my dream here? Because if you're going to do this, Jerry, you better have a wide open search profile and be willing to do your due diligence and nothing too quick, unless, of course, you're going to announce something in the next hour that you've been cooking for the last week or so.
Well, I think the best available head coaches were, I think the two guys from Detroit were certainly
they certainly should be
in
candidates.
that discussion. But remember, we've also talked about, do you want a guy who hasn't done it before, or do you want a guy who?
Well, I can say this: if I'm Jerry or I'm someone advising Jerry, I don't want anybody who has not been in the spotlight, but I will accept someone who hasn't been in the spotlight but has been in our spotlight. So Kellen Moore, while not actually having the gig before, has actually been here and been really close to it, so he would have an idea. So I would give him some credit. Witten, I don't know, but, he has been around. Yeah, he knows where to park.
He's a high school football coach.
But the trend is former player, and that's enough, and it's worked other places, so I understand it. And he might interview like Dan Campbell did. I don't know. He might be that dude. But at least I know this. He knows the city.
Dan Campbell coached under Sean Payton
You're right.
for years.
I'm not saying that Witten is the answer, but what I'm saying is if I am going to hire somebody who isn't one of us or isn't a head coach or hasn't done it before, I'm going to hire somebody that at least knows the lay of the land here in Dallas. So who are my candidates that, and Deion is one of them. If I'm not going to hire a current or past head coach, I want to hire somebody that knows what it's like to be here in Dallas, because to ask Ben Johnson to step into this fiasco, that's a big ask. I mean, to ask some of these young, hot candidates that you could flame these dudes out real fast. And I would think anybody who knows them would say, look, man, you're going to be flying real close to the flame here. Moving into Dallas is a big first bite.
Well, and I think the first thing they need to do is decide, do they want an offensive or defensive-minded coach?
I can tell you this. I don't care about the side of the ball you coach. Jerry just has to find you put the term best. What was a franchise builder,
a culture builder,
a culture guy. I don't care what side of the ball you coach, because you can be either side, but a guy that comes in. I'll never forget hearing the head coach of Vanderbilt,
Clark Lee.
When Lee sat down, he goes, from now on, every decision I make the last question I ask will be, will it help me win on Saturday? Every decision I make. That's building a culture. And I have an owner that will not try to build a culture, so I have to find somebody that will do everything from buying the color of pen. Everything has to be measured toward, will it help me win on Sunday? Because I got an owner that's going to be counter to that half the time.
Well, you have some guys who were coordinators on playoff teams who are now, after this week, now available to talk to. Jesse Minter, of the Chargers defensive coordinator, is a guy that a lot of people have talked about maybe as a head coach.
No, won't happen.
The DC for, why can't I think of his name? The DC for the Packers is Jeff Hafley. Jeff Hafley is now available to speak to if you want to speak to him. Vance Joseph, who does have head coaching experience, the DC in Denver, is available to talk to now. Liam Cohen, who does not have head coaching experience but is clearly a rising star, is available to talk to now. Now that Tampa's out.
You have not mentioned the next Cowboys coach.
Okay. Then you've got to look at there are coaches who are still coaching in the playoffs who are not available to discuss this job yet. One of them is Brian Flores, who I think is the best head coach available on the market.
He has to be interviewed. He's exactly what I'm looking at.
I say he's not available. He's available as of today.
Today, yeah. The Vikings got their ass handed to him last night.
Yeah,
he's now available. But I do think he's a worthy interview. And here's the good thing for Flores is, while Zimmer's been gone since Flores arrived, they do share the Minnesota together. And Flores has been around a long time. When you brought him up, my first thought was, eek, I don't think he and Jerry would ever even
I don't think they will either
together. But that might be exactly what he needs.
I think Brian Flores is too much of a no-nonsense guy, and it would be oil and water. It would be rough.
Jerry convinced others to get here.
You're right.
I mean, Parcells got here, and maybe Jerry might have softened and learned a lesson, or maybe the same snake oil will work on Brian. I won't bother you. Don't trust me. It won't happen this time. I've changed.
We'll talk about some of the guys that are still out there, but just not available to talk to yet on the other side. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you head into your early morning commute, Loop 410 westbound Morrison got a disabled vehicle that's off to the shoulder. Minor crash at the intersection of Wurzbach Parkway at Starcrest. It is taking up a right lane. I-10 westbound at Huebner, disabled vehicle that's off to the shoulder. And ongoing road work continues. 35 upper level southbound that connector to get onto westbound I-10. This road work has the roadway reduced to one lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by KFC. KFC bowls are back for just $5. Try 5 deliciously different bowls, like the new Nashville Hot Loaded Fry Bowl, or returning fan favorites like the Mac and Cheese Bowl or Nashville Hot Famous Bowl. Packed with all your favorite flavors, they've got your cravings covered.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
George gets justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. Offer ends soon. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
It is playoff time. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Be like me and 5 million other happy players winning money watching games with their Pick'em game, where you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. You can cook up fire entries for a shot to win real cash prizes all playoff long. You can even take football and basketball and mix them together. Underdog is the only Pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you You can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with my promo code STAR, and deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR. Sign up today. This is Jason Minix from The Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Vic's DJ passed is about to drop it.
Oh, yeah.
Morning Huddle, 94.1. Bringing the heat this morning. We mentioned Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, the both Detroit coordinators who are now at least temporarily off the list. There's a couple more. Cliff Kingsbury is a name I've heard kicked around. It doesn't seem like a fit to me, but it is a name. It is a guy who has head coaching experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it hasn't gone all that great. He was 28-37 with 0 playoff wins, 4 years at Arizona. He was 35-40 as the head coach at Texas Tech, and that was with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't hold that against him.
Okay.
You know, I think we know what Kingsbury is.
I think he's a really good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's so. But so is Kellen Moore. So I think he's as good a candidate out there and as likely a candidate as any of the other names you mentioned. We throw the records out. That Jerry doesn't give a damn about that.
Joe Brady, the OC of the Bills, who remember he first kind of flashed onto the scene back with the 2019 LSU team that was the greatest offense that's ever played college football, arguably.
And he spent some time around Houston. So there's a proximity thing with him. I tell you what, of all the dudes that are the non-coaches that when I look at what they have done and who they've worked with, Joe Brady is the most intriguing of all of them.
Really?
I think that you look how he and his quarterbacks work together, and it's several over the years.
Yep.
He is the most intriguing because good, bad, or indifferent, whoever comes in is married to Dak Prescott for the first half at least of their contract. For most of their first contract, they're married to Dak.
Well, I think if you're going to go get Joe Brady, you have to be willing to invest in your running game.
I think no matter if Kellen Moore comes home, you're going to have to be willing to do so. But I think that goes without saying. And I think that we've all realized that that was a fatal mistake that started a couple years ago that they couldn't fix. So I think whoever they bring in, the one thing we do know is you're married to Dak, and whatever you do plan on doing, Dak's going to play a pretty significant role, at least initially, for at least the first 2 years of your contract. So I think a guy like Brady would be the most likely candidate to bring in the door if you're worried about such things. Now, maybe the new owner will get, and the new coach will get the Sean Payton, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
And if you want me, you're going to have to get rid of him.
See, I like I do like Joe Brady, obviously. I would like him to stay put. But I like Liam Cohen's background. I like a guy who, he spent 4 years working under Sean McVay. I think anytime, look, I've seen these guys, like the guys who are around. We saw what's happened with Kevin O'Connell. It's like you're around these smart guys, and if you're a halfway smart guy, you're going to end up being a smart guy. You know, Liam Cohen seems like a smart guy, and the fact that he made Will Levis look good in college. So there's something to be said for that.
Liam Cohen is not going to.
No, I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. Here's what I really believe. It is going to be a massively either disappointing retread hire, and the name that comes to mind, most likely name that comes to mind is Mike Zimmer. I think more than if I were placing odds, I think my shortest odds would be on Mike Zimmer to be the head coach of the Cowboys. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a guy who is woefully unqualified to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It could be a Jason Witten. I don't believe it'll be a Deion Sanders, but it wouldn't shock me if it was something like that. Something that's like, oh, do you really think this is going to work? And it's almost becoming – Jerry is quickly turning into Al Davis. And, like, the guy that everybody looks at and kind of laughs. Like, really? That's what he's doing? That? Okay. Good luck.
Al Davis was his mentor. He endeavored early on. He learned at the feet of Al Davis. I think – well, we'll talk about it as we're –
It's not a great
if you're here, Jerry, you got to hire Deion. I'm just going to say it. If you're here where you have walked, you're standing at the abyss. You have taken yourself here. Don't go conservative now. Don't back off now. You've lit the fuse, man. Bring in something absolutely nuts. Go. It's got to be Deion. And if it ain't Deion, I don't know what the point of this was.
I've got an idea. There's a name out there, a guy who is very qualified, has had a long history of success in the NFL, and is available to talk to today. Mike McCarthy. Is there a better option on the market?
If
he's
Jerry
the guy, it's like when Tennessee fired Vrabel, and it's like, all right,
who should
give
we
me
hire?
the list of best available coaches, and they're like, well, Mike Vrabel looks like the best available coach.
Spit it in. Our AI gave us our best possible candidate.
The best available head coach now is literally the guy you just said no thanks to. That's where you're at.
You got here. You are now standing in a place that you've been before. And the last couple of times you did what seemed to be the sensible hire. And it blew up in your face.
Yeah.
You're 82?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you don't hire Deion Sanders right now, your whole life has led you to this. Seriously, I sound like I'm joking. I'm not.
If it's all about just having fun and making waves, then hire Joy Taylor to be your coach.
It's not about having fun and making waves. It's about making money. And your entire life, you have shielded the true purpose behind making money. You finally, the thing that you helped to create is now available to you. Who is, Prime has invented it's okay to make $1. It's okay for me to pimp sunglasses, cowboy hats, boots, and shoes while I'm talking about the team. It's okay. I do it all the time. Jerry and Deion are of the same wavelength. Let's go make some money, and if we win a few games, that's all right too, but we'll be front page from now on, and you will never be able to look away. Your whole life has been toward this, Jerry. You created this monster. Hire Frankenstein. Bring him home. This is it. You've done it. Oh. It sounds like I'm joking. I'm not.
Is that what you want as a Cowboy fan?
I'm going Costanza on this. Whatever Jerry wants or thought he wanted, I want to go totally opposite. And Deion Sanders is the total opposite of what Jerry would have hired even 5 years ago. I mean, it's just, that's a guy who's going to want as much publicity or more than the owner. Oh, Jerry couldn't have put up with that before. Now these guys could sit in their own room behind the locker room and count the money.
I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I cannot imagine that Cowboy fan wants Deion Sanders.
It ain't about want. It's about what does Jerry see as a way for us to come back in? Where do you feed this media beast? Yeah. Where do we get away from the fact that no matter what he does, this is a 500 football team. No matter what he does. Who's going to look past the fact that he's got this albatross of a quarterback hanging around his neck? No offensive line, no defensive line, really. His defensive end linebacker is about to become the highest paid defensive player of all time. He just made his quarterback the highest paid player of all time. He doesn't have anybody else on the defense, and his next best player just blew his knee out, and we're not even going to see him next year.
How long before Deion would get hit with a tampering charge for trying to recruit somebody?
Jerry would love it. I'll pay the fine. What are you talking about? In fact, if you don't get popped for tampering in the next 10 months, I'm fining you.
All right, we'll continue this on the other side. Morning Huddle 94.1.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play. Up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hour.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
All I've got is insane. Some words of Jerry Jones. All I've got is insane. I can't picture a world where Deion Sanders is a successful NFL head coach. And
but how do you measure success?
With actual tangible wins.
Oh, you are so naive.
Yeah, I'm old school like that, Bubba.
God, man.
I'm old
the 22nd
school.
century now. Look forward, not back. It's about the dollar.
Yeah.
No, you're right. No, actually, no. I don't think you're right. I think there is a trend that the former player and this new generation kind of get along better. I don't know.
Yeah, like Antonio Pierce.
Well, it didn't work for him. It didn't.
And Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I can
and
point
Jeff
toward the others.
Saturday.
But look at Dan Campbell. Look how
Dan
good
Campbell,
he's doing.
He cut his teeth like he went the hard way.
I know he did. But I'm saying, but I do think that there is a certain level of, Larry Bird was never a very good coach.
No.
Because he could do things, and he expected his players to do things that, quite frankly, they weren't capable of. He was capable of doing what he asked his players to do, but they weren't because they weren't freaking Larry Bird.
Yeah.
And I think there's some about Deion understands what players are capable of as players and all that, which I do like But no, he's not ready to be an NFL coach. But that's not really a prereq anymore. It's really not.
Well, it's not for winning, or if you're not a winning organization, it's not a prereq.
Well, there's certainly that. But, there's different kinds of coaches, and no matter who you bring in, if you surround yourself with good skill position coaches and you find somebody that's got a plan, those things can work. But the Deion hire has nothing to do with the team, with the record.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, and that's why I think man meets moment. That's why Deion's going to get hired, because finally you understand who Jerry truly is.
I think Deion also realizes that this would be him failing, and I don't think he wants to fail.
Well, you hope that the narcissism gets in the way of the honesty, that truly I won't fail. What are you talking about? That there's no possible way. I've never failed before. Why?
I mean, he literally won one game in his first year at
Colorado. But you redefine
what
success is, and that's how you get by. That's how you look yourself in the mirror. You find the successes, and he finds plenty of them. It's not as harebrained as it sounds, but it should happen. It won't.
I think it's a terrible idea. I think it's the worst idea.
Like, we're not talking about winning football games, but we finally understand who Jerry is. At least I do. A lot of people have known it for years. I just refused to believe that at the end of the day, all Jerry wanted was he wanted to win a Super Bowl, but he wanted to do it his way. Now I believe he has no care about the Super Bowl. He likes talking about it, but that's not what he's after. It's just not. So if you're not that, give me 17 weeks of Barnum and Bailey. If it's not
that's what you're
I want
paying for.
Cirque du Soleil. I want people on fire. I want water hazards. I want all of that. If we're not going to be playing in January and February, you better make October pretty damn interesting. And I think that Deion would continue that idea of Jerry. I'm just going to sell a bunch of tickets and I'll worry about the league and my team's place in it in the offseason.
It would be very fun to talk about, but it would not be. It would be a terrible. It would be probably would be a good business decision, as long as your business doesn't require. And the Cowboys are the one team that it seems like, and I know that their fans obviously want to win, but Cowboy fan, they've shown me no sign that they're going anywhere.
Give me a 17-week novella, and I'll be back next year.
Jerry Jones is the only he will take Cowboy fan, line them up, and just kick them in the groin over and over, and they will come back for more.
Well,
is what I found.
He's not kicking us in the groin.
Yes, he is, dude.
He's it's not. No, I don't feel like he's assaulted me. I think he's playing the bait and switch. I mean, he's doing the card game, the cup game in front of us, and we keep falling for it.
Because
he's not hurting me.
Because every Cowboy fan wants the Cowboys to win. And what you say is Jerry's priority isn't winning.
It's not.
That means every time he does something that hinders winning, he's kicking you in the balls.
Well, I also think that there's a certain level of Cowboy fan that likes this.
I can't imagine that.
Are you
that's
kidding
wild
me?
To me.
What do you mean? I mean, we're talking about the Cowboys today. We're not talking about the situation Minnesota finds themselves. We're not talking about where San Francisco finds themselves. We're not talking about a bunch of other bad situations. This is by far more entertaining. I'd much rather have a jersey on, or at least talk about you negatively, but secretly like the Cowboys. This is par for the course, and I see I'm Neo now. I took the pill. This is it. Jerry has, over the arc of his career, as he winds this thing down, think about where he was and think about everything that he has done that leads him to this moment. And Deion Sanders is the Frankenstein that he created.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But does it, again, I go back to always, how does it help you win?
And again, don't ask that question. Go, how do I make more money?
It just doesn't make sense to me that can be like, no, I know it's for Jerry. I know that, but that's what it means. But like, I can't imagine as a fan, the Cowboys making more money is like something that you're worried about.
The former wide receiver for the Cowboys, Sam Hurd, San Antonio.
Yeah.
He got in trouble with drugs. Sold a lot of drugs and got popped and did some federal time. That win was on the Cowboys.
If only he would have had like a regular job.
That win was with the Dallas Cowboys at the time, Sam Hurd was. And he talked about the stratification of money on a football team. And he said, there's the ones that are super wealthy, and then there's those that are about to be, and then there's those that are never going to be. And if you try to be like the others, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you start spending more money or trying to make more money than you should. And the idea of overspending to match the Joneses, I think, goes a long way outside of just the athlete. I think owners are the same way. I saw a list of the wealthiest owners in sports. And, Ballmer with the Clippers is worth like $135 billion. Jerry's only worth like 10.
Wait, yeah, it's not even close.
He's the poor guy in the room. So he's got to keep making money just to keep up with the rich dudes, and he's acting like Al Davis while he does it. He has to make the money to run with the real money. He doesn't have the real money. We think he does. He's the middle class, the low class in the NFL.
All right, more of this Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville. South Texas College Football Headquarters. Wonderful time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
James Fletcher with San Antonio Sports Star here. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? The playoffs are here and time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Just select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states including Texas, Missouri, California, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Let me ask you a question. Is your roof ready for anything? Well, Stevens Roofing, a locally owned company, has been serving our community for decades. Whether it's a commercial project or residential, or repairing your old roof, or maybe installing a new one, they've got you covered. And now Stevens offers solar. Stevens Solar Solutions can save you money and energy. Stevens Roofing, quality craftsmanship, solar solutions, and local expertise under one roof. Call 210-785-0994. or go to stevensroofing.net.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Febreze.
So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we just cleared that trouble spot downtown, 35 northbound at Cesar Chavez. It was a stall that has now cleared. We do have a stall I-10 westbound at Huebner that's off to the right shoulder. Another at 151 westbound at Potranco. Broken down vehicle off to the left shoulder. And another stall at 410 southbound at Dietrich. Right shoulder blocked. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA. Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas as the two sides agreed to mutually part ways. It's not me, it's you. The search begins. McCarthy set to interview, it appears, with the Saints and the Bears. The Cowboys have Kellen Moore as a name to watch, according to Ian Rappaport. In the NFL, the Vikings fell to the Los Angeles Rams 27-9 in what was a lackluster wild card weekend completion. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Synergenicshealth.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
1930.
Yes. So
See?
a whirling dervish of a day in Dallas as the Cowboys have moved on from Michael McCarthy. He's headed out of town with a boot up his tailpipe. Now Jerry Jones looks for the next head man in Dallas. Who will it be? No one knows except the man himself. Vic, what's your priority as Cowboy fan? Do you like Rob loves that his team gets talked about.
Right.
You like that?
Well, I just want to win already. Enough BS.
Yeah. Well, if I can't have a title, which I'm not going to get.
No.
If I'm not going to get a title, at least make me interesting. You know what I mean? At least give me something to talk about. And I do have that. And that's what Jerry has banked on for 30 years. And now we have reached the pinnacle. This is his last hire. He won't hire another coach.
Okay.
This will be it. I think he knows it. His son knows it. So knowing that, man meets moment, your entire career, what have you done? You've chased the dollar over success. Because you got success so early, you didn't need the success anymore. And now, the very beast that you created, the culmination of product and sport is Deion Sanders. He began the wave way back when. And 25, 30 years later, it is karma. It is perfect. The arcs have met. And now Let's see how far this takes you. Can the promotion, can the glitz, can the hyperbole, can it truly lead to a title? It might. It might.
No one knows.
Well, I'm no closer no further away than I was yesterday.
I know.
Well, you say you know.
I know.
You say you do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jerry's going to live to 100.
There's no example of this working.
Well, I've never had Deion as a head coach in the NFL. Nothing like this has ever happened before. The likelihood of success is minute, but that doesn't matter.
It blows my mind that this is like something you would want, because you said you want someone who's been who has this experience.
Forgive me. You got me wrong. Do I understand that what I want, what the logical decision isn't going to happen. The idea that Flores or somebody that will be brought in and Jerry will sit in a rocking chair and finally let a football guy make decisions and let things just be, instead of always undercutting and always talking and always working to the benefit of your team, but not necessarily to your coach or your players. If I thought that would happen, I'd be talking an entirely different scenario. But I know that ain't going to happen. By what just freaking happened over the last 3 days? Because now he's lost all face. Because now you have McCarthy, good, bad, and different, is a good man. The guy did not deserve what you did to him. You left him out to flap in the wind, and this was after what you gave him as your owner and general manager, and then you wouldn't even let him go look for another gig. I mean, at what point do you have no shame? So when I see that, I fully accept that the king is naked. He got no clothes. So let's ride the wave, baby. If we're doing this, I'm all in. Go get Prime. Let's do this. I'm in.
And this has happened in the sports radio industry too, where now, and on television as well, more often than not, it's not writers or guys who are who have covered the sport their whole life. It's former players. And the truth is, former players are more interesting than guys like Rob and I. But the truth is, the substance of those guys is typically not what you get from guys who have made this their whole life.
Right.
And it's shiny and it's exciting to have. Oh, look at the name I can put on, on my marquee.
Yeah.
But if your goal is to win, and that's where I think the disconnect might be. If Deion Sanders were to be hired, that would, to me, be a pure separation of priorities for Jerry. It would be getting the marquee, getting the headlines, making money versus winning football games. And I think there are more guys who care about winning, or even the pretending like you're really, really trying to win, even if it doesn't work, at least showing that you give a damn, than getting the headlines. I think most Cowboy fans would have to. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cowboy fan is that wild that we don't care. It's just we want to be America's team.
As I've gone through this, AJ, I hate to admit it, but yes, things would be different if Cowboy fan acted like New England fan that had tasted success for so long that once it was gone, you better fire that idiot. He didn't last a year.
Yeah.
And this was after Belichick had sunk. If we had the same standards that Patriot fan had, the world would be a different place. Jerry would have sold the team. We wouldn't have been able to put 30 years of this. You think we'd have put up what Cowboy fan talks about is this Stephen A. gloating? Are they leading on ESPN? Are they America's team? Because if I didn't, this team would be different. You get what you tolerate. And we tolerated this for 30 years because if we're not going to be winning, at least we're being talked about. And we don't want to admit it. We act like we want to win. No, we don't. No, we don't.
I mean, the team that I cheer for has never won a Super Bowl, so I don't know what that's like. But I don't care if they're ever on TV. I don't care about.
Oh, can you imagine? We bitch when we see a noon game. When Cowboy fans sees a noon game, we're like, oh, I wonder what Jerry thinks about this. He's doing a noon game.
That's crazy.
That's set aside for Texan fan. Oh, Texans, I don't care what you say. You're playing at noon. I can grill. I got everything ready for 3 or 6:30 because that's when we play. I don't care if we're going to win or lose, but that's when we are because it fits my schedule.
Yeah, I don't even.
Games? Ugh, that's weird.
It doesn't even register with me that like what time the Bills are playing any given week. Like what spot they like the way the weekend the Bills played the early game Sunday. I don't even know other than the primetime game at the end, like the Sunday night game, which is usually the highlight of the week game. I don't even know what the pecking order is. Like I don't know. I know Saturday morning is like the
let me tell you,
the worst.
Cowboy fan knows the pecking order.
I just don't think about those
when
things.
the schedule comes out, and I'm Cowboy fan. How many primetime games? Oh, 3 noon game on. That's weird. Oh, Amazon Prime. Ugh, what's wrong? What did Jerry make? It's noon. That's embarrassing. Ask any Cowboy fan.
That's
we
crazy.
know it. We know it. And it goes so deep.
But would you
grew up
rather
in a
play
Southern Baptist
you
church?
want to play at 3:30 every week and lose, or play at noon and win and go to the playoffs?
I don't know the difference. I don't know what it's like to win at noon. We don't do it. What are you talking about? What's this noon stuff you're talking about? The red zone's on. It is truly a mentality that, as Cowboy fans, going to bitch. We love this.
Well, if that's what you love, you're going to get plenty more if Deion were to get hired.
30 years of this, AJ.
But you are going to get. You're not going to get an on-field winner.
You get what you tolerate.
There's no way that if Deion becomes a successful NFL head coach from a win-loss perspective, I will eat my hat.
It would certainly never happen in Dallas.
Yeah, it might take some barbecue sauce, but I will eat my hat if he becomes a winner. I just don't. I don't see it. So the fact that there's any Cowboy fan who, knowing that this guy is very, very, very unlikely to win, that are still like, yeah, I don't care, I still want it.
Oh, well, we'll believe we can win.
Okay.
I mean, we've drunk this snake oil. So we bought for a year that Chan Gailey. we believed that Dave Campo, who always looked like he'd lost his keys.
That, did you?
Oh, we believed it. We believed that Dave Campo and Anthony Wright were playoff bound.
I'm surprised you believe that.
No, we didn't believe it, but Jerry believed it, or at least it's not a lie if you believe it. But I mean, this is just another of the many just veers and forks in the road that you go, that was the wrong turn, and there's another wrong turn, and you keep taking wrong turns, you end up driving in circles, and I feel like I've been here so many different times. So here we sit again, and what has been the norm? The hire that led to the easiest transition, that fostered an environment of not so much radical change, a little bit, still my world, it's still my guys, and we're going to carry on and we'll win just enough to keep you going. And I don't see any change coming.
Well, I think it would be a massive, massive mistake.
Kidding. This would be so much fun.
Brian said he's pretty sure every team checks when their team plays. I literally when the Bills schedule comes out, I see when they play Monday night or Thursday night, because that affects prep for the next week or the prior week. That's the only thing that matters to me. Like, I don't even think about, like, are they playing on Sunday Night Football or what? Like, it's cool if they are, and usually, like, if they're playing the Chiefs or the Ravens, they're going to be on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. Mm-hmm. But, like, I only think about it from, like, how's this going to affect them going into the next week? I never think about, like, everybody's going to be watching them. That's so weird. It's just, it's foreign to me.
I know. It is so unscientific. But in my mind, I don't think the Cowboys play at noon more than twice a year.
I think you're probably right.
So when it does happen, it is so random that you can't, what? Noon? Father Gonzalez is going to have to end mass early. I mean, does Preacher Johnson have any idea that we're only going to be able to pass the plate once a noon game?
Out of here, yeah.
We got to get out of here. It's bad for business. They got to play at 3.
Well, the fact that those things are priorities to Cowboy fan is just fascinating to me.
That's how we got here.
And that's exactly how you've gotten here. That's got to be the case.
Can Deion wear his own jersey on the sidelines?
I don't
Can
believe
he wear
that.
21?
I mean, I guess he could. I don't think he would.
And his cowboy hat on the sidelines. Can
he
do
doesn't
that?
wear the cowboy hat on the sidelines because the headphones don't fit.
Oh,
over
see,
it.
we'll have to do. We can fix that.
You think they get him
we got
custom made?
NASA engineers we can get a hold of. We can fix that.
Okay.
And so we can engineer a cowboy hat that will blend his glasses.
That's exactly why I don't wear a cowboy hat on the radio. Otherwise, I would.
You can go with the earpiece. You can go with the things like that, but it won't.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, it won't.
I need to get it like an over-the-ear one like Garth Brooks has.
That's it. You need. Oh, that's exactly what you need. The little flesh-colored mic right
yeah,
now.
yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you could dance with that, too.
Hell yeah.
Then you'd be a triple threat.
And the thunder rolls. Bam, bam, bam.
See, you want to be Garth. I want to be his alter ego.
Chris Gaines?
Chris Gaines.
Well, you've got the beard for it
I've
now.
got the Chris Gaines. And I've got the voice, too. And the songwriting chops.
All right, we'll be back. Morning Huddle 94.1.
You know, Dr. Jacob. Oh.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Pizza craving? We've got you covered at Round Table Pizza. We've been crafting pizzas with premium, high-quality ingredients for over 60 years. From our made-from-scratch dough to our savory toppings piled all the way to the edge. Find your nearest location or order delivery at roundtablepizza.com.
Old Spice Swagger Body Wash will make you the MVP of freshness and confidence. With its irresistible scent, it will transform your shower experience, leaving you feeling fresh on and off the field. Pair it with Old Spice Swagger Deodorant, the #1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
Dr. Jacob Torres in the Institute for Functional Health. Well, that's my primary physician. I go see Dr. Torres to maintain my health. Now, I started to go see him as a weight loss physician, and the Institute for Functional Health handles all kinds of things. Their intent is to functionally get you healthy, and losing weight is certainly a part of that. I was talking to a friend of mine who has started on the new semaglutides, taking a shot and has been losing some weight, and I asked him this question: what are you going to do when you stop taking this? Are you going to be able to maintain the weight that you've lost and stay there once you stop injecting that? Have you learned to live a healthy lifestyle? Because if you haven't, as soon as you stop taking it, all that weight comes back. That's why I love Dr. Torres, because he taught me how to live well beyond semaglutides. I lost the weight the old-fashioned way, and not only did I lose it, I know how to keep it off. Day in and day out, the functional health part of this has stayed true. That's why Dr. Torres has been so successful with me and so many people like me and you, because so many of us have tried and failed for so many different reasons. And the semaglutide is great for some people, but you might not necessarily need it. You don't need to go take the pills if you understand how and why you can lose some weight and lose it on a steady basis. I've been seeing Dr. Torres for now 8 years. He's my full-service physician that he has gotten me healthy and he's kept me healthy, and I want that for you. So if semaglutides aren't in the picture, or you want to do it the old-fashioned way and learn how to keep the weight off, I can't recommend Dr. Torres any higher. Here's the number. It's 210-468-1891. Did I tell you I'm down 80 pounds? His website is iffhealth.com. Listen to me. Do your due diligence. If it's time to lose weight, maybe the shots aren't for you, but go talk to a physician who understands where you are. That's Dr. Torres. Call him today, and you can thank me later.
Is health or fitness a goal this year? Great news. The King of Paddle has arrived in San Antonio with 8 pickleball and 6 paddle courts. Their indoor facility suits all skill levels from beginners to seasoned players. Mark your calendar for their January 18th and 19th winter tournament. Find details at thekingofpaddle.com or at the King of Paddle SA on social media. Visit their new downtown location at 314 Nolan Street or check out the new King of Paddle facility with us this Thursday as we broadcast the Blitz live from 2 to 6.
Do you hear that?
Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will...
It's showtime! Let's do it! It's fun time! Here we go!
South Texas home of the 12-team college football playoff is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All of the matchups are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear every game on South Texas' first and only FM sports station. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Dun, dun, dun. What a jam.
It really was. Fine young cannibals.
Let me address the Brigade Bar quickly, as I am wont to do.
Yeah. There's a lot going on today.
What's going on here, man?
Let's see.
It's all wiggly and jiggly.
What's wrong with it? Did you break your...
I didn't
You
break
broke your rake.
It's just a little loosey-goosey, that's all. It needs a...
Need a Phillips?
Needs a tightening. I don't know. I guess, no, it's like some sort of hexagon thing.
Oh, okay.
Anywho, Christian said I had to literally stop and comment. I can't help but completely not agree with you both. Cowboy fan since '82. First, getting Sanders would be something that shakes the pot.
It would do that.
And what else do we need? Or what else do we need to do to make things happen? Then Sanders not caring about winning? Unbelievable. So everything he did from Jackson State to Colorado was for the clout. Also completely agree with Brian. Now, mind you, here's the deal with what Coach Prime has done as a coach. You'll note that everywhere he's been a coach has been a place that his son was playing. I think that he is really obsessive about daddy ball, like to the point where he had the brand name to be like, okay, I can keep riding with you, and went to Jackson State. Then, now we can move up to Colorado. Let's do that.
Well, sadly, it wasn't Shador. It was Travis. Travis is the stud. Shador's good.
I mean, Shador's very good.
But he had a Heisman dude, and those guys were together. I'm not taking away from I'm sure Deion's not a bad coach. I'm not taking away from where he is. He's a fine coach at Colorado. He won some football games, and that's hard to do. I don't care who you are.
No, it's different being a college coach. Because
exactly. I'm not taking down Deion because he's Deion.
As a college coach, your job is to recruit good players. That's what Deion's job is.
Now you don't even have to do it that much. All you got to do is write checks. You don't even have to be a great recruiter anymore. You just got to have a checkbook.
But now you got to actually be able to coach with players that are equal to your players. To your opponent's players.
So I'm not taking away from Deion's ability. And maybe in 5 years after he plays in the Big 12 for a while and wins some big games and shows he can build a program that maintains and all the things that you look for in a new coach, there would be an entirely different conversation. But it could be anybody who's a 2-year D1 coach who's applying for the Dallas Cowboy job. You go, you're not ready, brother. But the thing about Deion is what he brings to the table that nobody else does is he sees dollar signs as big as W's. They mean the same. And one gets you the other. And sometimes you get the cart before the horse and it works. And sometimes you don't. Jerry has the cart before the horse. He'd rather make money and hope that buys wins. No, you win to make money. That's where the championships come from.
And Jose says, Daddy Ball's playing your son if he's not the best player. That is true, but it's also sort of riding the coattails of your son.
Yes.
There's something to like, oh, my son's he's going to be a big star. I want to be associated with it. And not because Deion needed the clout, but because it's a way to make and look where Deion's gotten since he started coaching again. Like, you think Deion was doing Aflac commercials before he was coaching? No. Deion was not Deion wasn't O.J. Simpson. Like, he wasn't just in all these commercials. Like he was some sort of, a star that transcended sports. That was not Deion Sanders before he was coaching. Deion is, much like Jerry, about the glitz.
Yes.
And this put him in the spotlight again. So I'm not saying he can't coach. I'm saying his superpower as a coach is recruiting kids that otherwise would never play at a school that Deion is at. Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders would never have gone to Jackson State were it not for Deion saying, hey, let's go to Jackson State, and then convincing Travis Hunter, who could have gone to literally any school in the country, to go to Jackson State.
And keep in mind, Deion coached both of them in high school at Prime Prep.
Was it Prime Prep or Prime Tech?
Well, it was Prime Prep, and I think it might have changed.
I think it was
one
Prime
time.
Prep. I think you're right.
Before it changed out of Dallas, so he's been coaching his kids since they were in playing
Pee-wee
CYO.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it is Daddy Ball. It's the highest example of Daddy Ball, but that's what it was. And again, I'm not taking away from his prowess. He's won games at every level he's coached. He just hadn't coached in the NFL, and it's one of those things you're either ready or you aren't. And now you can get some OJT if you have an owner that would allow that. And he brings to the table what no other coach brings: a cachet, a Q rating, I will elevate or your brand. Now, it might not be elevated to the places you want it to be, but your brand will be elevated when Prime walks in.
Jose says, I know you've coached before. You coach your son to be part of his life and help mentor him, not to ride his fame. That is true. And if the opportunity came for me to continue coaching him in college, I think I would have to bow out, because I would know that's probably not best for my son. Like that's no longer serving my son's best interests, but also because I don't want to do a job that I know deep down, and maybe that may be where Deion and I are built different. Like, maybe he doesn't believe that he could fail at something. I don't want to do a job that I know I'm not qualified to do. Like, if someone said, hey, I want you to teach a yoga class 3 days a week, and we're going to pay you $500,000 a year, I wouldn't be able to take that job, because as much as I would love to make $500,000 a year, like wearing stretchy pants, I'm not capable of doing that job.
What he's talking about, he's not riding. Deion isn't riding Shedeur's fame.
No.
Deion is still more famous.
I'm not talking about riding his fame. I'm talking about building a new career off of.
You'd take the money and learn it on the job. What are you talking about?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would. I wouldn't.
I mean, all right.
I'd be at Lululemon tomorrow, man. I'd have all the brand new stretchy clothes I could. I'd learn on the job, man. And I don't blame him. Go interview. You might get the gig. But what I'm getting at is this has nothing to do. He's got as much credit to being a coach as a lot of these guys. I mean, if you just take away the name. I mean, Sark has been thrown out. I mean, as a college coach. He's done some OC work, and he probably got a good offensive mind. But is he ready to be a pro coach? He's no more ready to be a Cowboy coach than Deion is. But his name's going to be thrown out. But what Deion brings more than anybody on this is his own cachet, his own press, his own gravity that I don't see how Jerry can look away from. That everybody is attracted to something. And Jerry is attracted to publicity. And Deion learned at the knee of the best. It just seems like this moment was perfect for Jerry's plans for the last 30 years. I think he can now look in the mirror. We can look at Jerry looking in the mirror and going, all right, it's finally apparent. This is who you've always wanted the Cowboys to be.
Steve Sarkisian first of all, he's worked in the NFL before. But secondly, I mean, he worked under Pete Carroll for like 7-8 years at USC. He's gone and worked under Nick Saban. Like, who's the best coach that Deion Sanders has learned under? Who's the biggest branch on his tree?
Oh, name all the guys he played for. He played for some really good coaches.
No, I'm talking about as a coach. Who's mentored him as a coach?
Well, I mean, you learn how to coach by the coaches that you played with. I mean, sometimes you learn from your coaches the intricacies, but I think most of the guys that when you, like, who's your coaching style, you talk about the guy that coached you, not the coach you coached with. Those guys fine-tune you. You become the guy that first coached you. I believe that. So I think Deion is probably that kind of coach. I think he's been coached well. He's been around good coaches. He's certainly won a lot of games. So I think that's why you hire those former players. So those kind of boxes that he does check. But that's not why he'd get hired. I mean, it's not.
It's not.
It's all about.
But I think that's why he would fail. Like,
he's going to fail. You think I'm thinking this is going to be a success? It's not going to work. But in Jerry's mind, most of my decisions aren't going to work. So if it's not going to lead to W's on the field because I'm going to be too involved. This is my boat, and I'm going to drive it how I want to drive it. I'm going to paint it the color I want to paint it, and screw you. So if I know that, I might as well make some money while I'm at it.
And Keith says you don't have to be mentored to come from a tree. You don't, but I do think there is something to it. It's not playing football and coaching football are not the same thing. And like just seeing someone coach and saying, "Oh, I can do that." I don't think that's a real thing. I don't believe that that's the best path to success.
I would 100%
because
agree.
And if you disagree, Keith, show me an example of someone where it's worked. And like, show me a guy in the NFL who has had success without cutting his teeth and doing it the right way. They don't exist. There's a lot of former players who have had success as coaches, but all of them have come up as coaches. They didn't just show up having, and say, well, I'm the head coach. Like, because I coached, I played under a good head coach. I played under Jimmy Johnson. I played under,
Well, I also believe that there are movers of men, that there are men, there are people, women too. Like, I think, and this is no joke, that let's say Pat Summitt, the coach at Tennessee, decided to be a football coach. I think she'd have been a hell of a football coach. X's and O's be damned. I think that there are some people that get you to do things you didn't think you could do. And I think Deion might have a little bit of that in him. I do think that there are some people that make you do things unexpectedly well. And they might not be the kind of, like Larry Brown is the most sniveling dude I ever met. But he made basketball players. He made players. And you hated him for it. And you didn't like being around him, but I'll be damned if you weren't better for being around a dude like that. And Deion's not that kind of guy. But some people can just flat out move mountains. And Dan Campbell's that type. I think if Dan Campbell had decided to be a general, he'd be a 4-star general. If Dan Campbell decided to do something, he just moves men. He shakes the room up. I'm not sure if that's Deion, but I do think that there is something to him, that you look at him, you see what he's done, you see what he's capable of, and you aspire to it. He has made players, better. He has. Jackson State won a lot of football games. They weren't before. Some of it had to do with Travis and Shador, but I don't know of any player that's ever played for him that said anything negative. Now, he's run some people off. Ask all the Colorado kids that, had to pack their bags because Gucci showed up. So I think there's some bad mouth about him being the guys that got run away, but anybody that's been under and around his program, I've never heard anything negative.
No, I haven't either. And I do think that stuff works on kids.
I said the same thing about Dan Campbell 4 years ago. I watched that opening press conference, and I thought, there's no way the rah-rah coach will ever work in the NFL. That's a college thing.
But Dan Campbell learned how to coach football. And like Dan Campbell he humbled himself. He sat for 5 years in Sean Payton's shadow and learned and soaked. And
what about D'Amico Ryans? I mean, I could name guys you go.
D'Amico Ryans who went and worked for Kyle Shanahan?
Well, I mean, Deion's got his own. I mean, he's been a head coach. He didn't assist it. He went to the top and learned to be a head coach. I mean, I'm justifying a scenario that I don't agree with. I don't think he should be the head coach. But I do get it when you say, Well, I'm going to interview him. You go, why? And if you just took his name away and you listed the things that he's done, you go, well, I get it. Considering the modern climate of the coaches that have been recently hired, the successes that I've seen down in Houston, I go, well, it's worth a shot. If his name wasn't Deion and it was Jason Witten, who'd been coaching at Jackson State and had gone to Colorado and brought another guy in and made that program more money than it had ever dreamed of and made him front and center, I'd interview Jason Witten too. You know?
I wouldn't interview Jason Witten either.
I don't think I'd give him the job, but I would certainly talk to him because he speaks my language if I'm Jerry. He talks the same way I talk. He thinks of things in dollars first and wins second, and I get what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Give me a mover of men, and I love that. I love that term, and I do think that like guys like Deion is one of those. I certainly believe Dan Campbell is one of those. But I also want a mover of men who knows the ins and outs of the bit. Like, I don't want a manager.
That's the smart hire.
I don't want a manager at McDonald's who has never worked the fry station, who doesn't know when you've got to order cleaning supplies because he's never had to stock that. Like, I want someone who's done all the little crappy jobs and worked his way up, versus someone who. I've eaten hamburgers my whole life.
No,
I can do this.
Or my dad owned the franchise.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was around there. I filled in when I was required, but I never did the hard stuff. I never cleaned up the vomit in the bathroom. I never did that.
Like that bitch Wendy. Oh, your dad's Dave. Oh, now I know everything about the burger business.
Just name it after yourself. Square patties. That just goes to show you.
But I don't want a Jason Witten because Jason Witten doesn't have the appropriate experience.
No, he is as far away from being ready as anybody.
I mean, God, I every week I laugh at Trent Dilfer coaching at UAB. I'll kick dirt on him until the day he's fired because he had no business being a head coach in college football. And to his credit, and God bless him, Prime has figured out that if I can just get the best players, it doesn't really matter if I can coach.
Right.
Like that is the beauty of high school football, college football. You let me pick my groceries, I can make a pretty damn good meal. But in the NFL,
there's a salary cap.
In the NFL, there's 32 guys who all have an equal shot at this.
And a salary cap. He's never had a salary cap before. There's no limit to how much he can spend in Colorado. And just keep writing the checks, baby.
I would say any given year, there are going to be 31 coaches who can coach circles around Prime, but Gerard Mayo you know what? Gerard Mayo at least cut his teeth a little bit. Antonio Pierce had no business being a head coach. That was just a dumb, so there are dumb hires made. My concern for the Cowboys is that it would be an Antonio Pierce type hire. Antonio Pierce, by all accounts, a mover of men. That's what everybody said.
Yes.
And that's what every player in that locker room was like, man, this guy's got us fired up. Let's keep him. And then 1 year later, they realized, this guy has no idea what he's doing.
He had us run through a wall. I ran through it and ran into another wall. That didn't do us any good at all.
Like we ran through a bunch of walls and won 4 games.
Yeah, what was that? What was the point of that?
What was all this wall crashing for?
Did you see that? I wish I could remember the player for Pittsburgh. They were interviewing post game after they'd lost, and they go, "Did you know this year? Did you see any improvement?" Oh yeah. Did you see an improvement? Yeah, the team got better. What do you think about the future? You happy about the future? No. No, I think that kind of is the epitome. Did we get better? Yeah, but this coach ain't going to take us there. He ain't a bad coach.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen for him. So sometimes it ain't the coach at all. Even though he got better, I don't trust that guy, or I'm not listening to him anymore. And maybe Deion would just be a voice that nobody else has listened to.
All right, we'll be back. Morning Huddle 94.1.
You know, if you did wake up and wash yourself clean under a Connecticut a softened shower, go about your day. You're doing things right. I get the opportunity to talk about a brand that I absolutely believe in, and that's a Connecticut. You know why? Because I have one, and I never, ever think about it. I haven't seen any powder on my dishes. I certainly don't know what it's like to have dry hair or dry skin because I've always had a Connecticut. And I just kind of assumed that most people had what I had. And that's not the case. If you've got a substandard water softener, if you don't have the very best, you're putting the pipes in your home at risk. You know, all that stuff that's showing up on your plates and on your skin, a lot of that's getting stuck in your pipes. And I can't even imagine what your water tastes like after years of that in your pipes. You got to get yourself a Connecticut and find out how the better half is living. Right now is the best opportunity to do that. If you call them today at 656-PURE, that's 656-PURE, they're going to come out and put a Connecticut in your home, and you'll find out what I'm talking about without any kind of commitment. And you'll get 90 days to find out. Now, if you decide, and you should, to get that Connecticut, they got a little pilone for you, a little bit of extra, something. It's a reverse osmosis drinking station that they'll put up at your sink. That eliminates the need for any bottled water ever. You got the water ready for you right there at the sink for your coffee, your tea, your Kool-Aid, your dog dish, whatever it might be, part of the program. So call Connecticut today and find out what all your neighbors know, that Connecticut is the best water softener you can get for this part of the world. And once you get that Connecticut in your home, I know you're going to come on by and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working a couple of stalls. 151 westbound at Petranco off to the left shoulder, and I-10 westbound Wurzbach. This is a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane. Slowing down 35 southbound FM 3009 on down to 1604, about a 10-minute ride, and about 15 minutes on Highway 90 eastbound between 211 on over to Loop 410. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out, 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
George Gets Justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George Gets Justice. GetGeorge.com.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
New Texas A&M football that says on one of the panels,
two-time national champions. And it's got 1919 and 1939. In our group chat, I said, Rob, did you get that for Christmas? He said, no, it's my former hug pillow.
His hug pillow.
He says, I hug my 2 trophies every night before I go to sleep.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Joe Reinagel. You're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Spinal Tap.
Anthrax.
Fred says, Jerry don't want to pay nobody, so either Kellen Moore or Brian Flores, bottom line. Brian Flores is going to cost you. Brian Flores he's the most qualified coach on the market, not named Mike McCarthy.
I don't know about I don't think the dollars will cost you, but Flores ain't showing up here without a 5-6 year deal. You know what I mean? I ain't walking into this thing without a golden parachute. So you're giving me 5 years.
And let me address one more thing about Coach Prime. Remember now who we're talking about here making this hire. There's a buyout attached to Deion Sanders. Jerry doesn't pay coaches to not coach. He ain't going to pay for somebody else he ain't going to pay for his guy to stop coaching somewhere else. You think that's going to happen?
Yeah. That's different.
How's that any different?
Jerry will buy a swag copter if it makes him look good. Think of Prime as an asset. Because Prime now is no longer a coach. He's an asset. And one thing about Jerry is he doesn't buy things, he buys assets. And Prime is worth dollars to him. So I bring in this asset. I will invest in the asset. I will go buy that property. I will go buy the swag copter knowing it's going to cost me $3 million, but I'm going to get $20 million in publicity from it. He'll pay that buyout because he's buying an asset.
The Mike McCarthy Deion Sanders would cost $8 million to get out of his deal in Colorado.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good, well negotiated by Colorado, but I still think that's
pennies.
It really, in the grand scheme, it would be a painful check for Jerry to write because you are right.
Do it, man.
If he is of the mindset that I believe he is, he'll do it.
That's a good number.
It's a good number. It's far more than he's worth, let me tell you. I mean, but that's different. Don't look at it as I'm hiring a coach, because that's not what this is.
You're hiring a brand.
Yes, I'm bringing another product, another line underneath the umbrella that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's the jump man under Nike.
Robert says the Steeler was George Pickens, dude is a cancer. Yeah, he is. He's a pain in the ass.
Nah.
I mean, he's right. It's God bless Tomlin, like what he's able to do with that crummy roster. But like,
and we talk.
It's your quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
And that's the crazy thing, because I covet Tomlin like I covet a tax-free annuity. I mean, please. I mean, it would be an ideal situation. It would be the medicine that cures the cancer. It would be radiation directly to the tumor if Tomlin was allowed to live in the star. It would be.
It's so funny you say that, because
chemo, it would be everything. It would excise all the cancer out of there. It'd take him a couple years, but he would fix that thing.
Mike Tomlin is what Cowboy fan hates.
Well, he's the antithesis of what we're accustomed to.
He's a guy who's going. I mean, he's what you just kicked out of the building.
No, different.
He's a guy who wins a bunch of games and has not had playoff success.
No, he's got a Super Bowl.
Like 20 years ago.
I'm just saying.
Much like Mike McCarthy.
But he functions at a level that the Cowboys need. It's kind of like the sum of the parts would be far more. It's what he would bring would be exactly what a great marriage has. Great marriages have one person that dreams and one that's the anchor, one that spins and one that budgets. This would be the anchor to Jerry's sale. Like, dude, you can't do this. If you want to win, you don't bring back Zeke. If you want to win, you don't do this. You don't sign your quarterback an hour before the season begins. You don't do that if you want to win. And if you want to win, you're going to do it with me. And if you don't want to win, I'm leaving.
Last 8 seasons, 0-5 in the playoffs. You're telling me Cowboy fan would be okay with that?
No, I'm not saying Cowboy fan would be okay with that. No one wants to take medicine. I don't want to take any medicine, especially that stuff that tastes awful. Tomlin would be the awful tasting medicine that made you feel better in a couple of years. You'd wake up going, you know what? I was sick. I didn't realize how bad I was. But the fix sucked. The chemo sucked balls. But here I sit. And Tomlin would be the guy I would bring in to do that. But we don't want the medicine. We're not trying to cure the cancer.
Yeah, I don't think Cowboy fan would have as much tolerance for Mike Tomlin as they think. Mike Tomlin, I see a world where Mike Tomlin is useful.
He wouldn't take the gig anyway.
Mike Tomlin is great if you've got a 7-win roster and you want to win 10 games.
That's the Cowboys roster currently.
But the downside to Mike Tomlin is if you happen to have a 12-win roster, you're going to win about 10 games.
Well, that's about. Well, you know what? He's talking about the Cowboys.
You remember when Jimbo Fisher said we are not an 8-4 football program? And about the Aggies, and that's exactly what Aggie football is historically, as an 8-4
Why'd
football
you have to
program.
Go there? Of all the places you could have gone, of all the areas, of all the teams you could have named,
Mike Tomlin is.
I want you to look behind your head.
Mike Tomlin is a 10-7,
10-7
football coach, is what Mike McCarthy is, or what Mike Tomlin is.
Yes,
he's a 10-7 football coach.
We're not talking about the wins. I'm talking about somebody to come in and fundamentally change who and what the Cowboys are. Where everything that is done is at least done with the eye toward winning. It might not be the right decision, but it was made with the eye toward winning. Where that is not what goes on in that world. It's not. It's where are we going to make our next buck? How are we going to turn our next penny into a nickel? I mean, that's all that goes on in Jerry world, and that's not going to go away, knowing that's how this franchise is. So if I accept who I am, well, let's kind of maximize this then. Let's go all in on this.
James says, AJ, here we go again. Believe it or not, I like listening to you since you came on board. But come on, man. Michael Vick can't coach. Now Deion can't coach. Who's proven to be a coach? Come on, man. Here's the thing, friends. Coaching in the NFL is a lot different than coaching in college. And I want you to think back of the guys who were much, much, much more accomplished college football coaches than Deion Sanders, who went to the NFL and had miserable failures. Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Steve Spurrier, Lou Holtz, Matt Rule, Dennis Erickson. The list goes on and on and on and on. And it's like all of a sudden when they don't have the best players anymore, it's hard. And not to take anything, not to say those guys can't coach. They're college football coaches. Deion is a good college football coach. It doesn't mean that he is I don't know how to put this. Coaching college football is not necessarily about coaching as much as it is about getting the best players. And Prime is great at that. Coaching in the NFL is different, and I don't believe that Deion has the actual X and O coaching chops to sit down and build a winning frame. And I also don't believe his priorities are set up for him to live and breathe it.
And I do believe he could be a good NFL coach. There's no reason, nothing that says he can't. It's just you don't start with the Cowboys. You don't start at this mess unless there's an alternate motive. But I will say that coaching, as in any profession, changes. What made a great coach 20 years ago ain't what makes a great coach now. And I do think some of this mentality of the mercenary that starts when you're in high school with the great athletes, you go where the money is, starting in your junior year in high school, that coaches are no longer the craftsmen that slowly build something great. Coaches work on an assembly line. You get them for about 2 years, and hopefully you can maximize what you got from them and you can get enough out of him from the last dude that worked on him that you can get some wins, but you don't get the chance to truly build something. And in the NFL, you kind of do. In the NFL, this is the last stop on the tracks. They're not leaving it, and they might go to another team, but they're not moving up. They're not aspiring to anything else. So Deion has been successful at the assembly line. He gets his players for a couple years. They probably played someplace else under a different coach and got some chops there. They showed up and they won some football games and they move on. They barely even have an address. They don't stay there long enough. So I think Deion is prepared for that style of things, but the NFL, you truly can, like we've seen with Tomlin, although, time might be running out on that, truly build something and make decisions not just about next Sunday, but next year. You can literally make a decision about next year if you have an owner behind you and you have the trust that I will be here next year to get the fruits of my decision, even though I'm going to suffer right now. And I don't know if Deion can do that. That's the one step that turns you into a great pro, that you have to make decisions for Sunday because you got to keep your job. But if you do keep your job, are you going to be able to win next year by the decision you made? And the good GMs have that safety. I can do that, and the good coaches can make that decision too. I don't know if Deion can do that. I don't know.
I don't either.
But the league is coming toward him. It's not the other way around. The league is getting toward the 2 years. Do what you can with them, and if they don't work, we'll find another dude.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was trying to think about the guys who have had success.
It's so few. There's so few college coaches that stepped in and had the time and wherewithal.
There are guys who were NFL guys who went to college and then came back and had more success. Like Pete Carroll is Pete Carroll was
the shining example.
But Pete Carroll was an NFL coach who won in college and then won in the NFL also.
Well, he got ran off, went back to college, and came back. He had to. That was more about refining what he already was.
But I guess Jimmy Johnson he was a pure college coach.
Apart from 4 years, he was an abject failure in the NFL. Think about Miami. I
think he went to the playoffs like 3 times in Miami.
It was not 3 times, 2 times.
Maybe I don't know, but either way, that doesn't sound like an abject failure.
He was never recreated. It was lightning in a bottle. He was going to kill himself as a coach anyway.
3 playoff appearances, 4 seasons for Miami.
3,
that's pretty good.
The memory of that was not. It was always unfulfilled promise.
All right, more up next. Morning Huddle 94.1.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hello. My name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio, and since 1994, I've been representing people and families seriously injured by negligent drivers. Recently, we've all seen advertisements from attorneys here in San Antonio saying their firm does not get paid an attorney fee unless there's a recovery. And maybe you've heard, we don't get paid unless you get paid, or words to that effect. Well, that is what I've been doing for more than 30 years. I honestly did not know that there were attorneys in San Antonio that would represent an injured client and charge a fee if there was no recovery. You see, I practice law with basic principles, one of which is you never need an excuse to do the right thing. If you or a family member has been injured in a vehicle collision, including a commercial or business vehicle, an 18-wheeler, call me. The phone call and consultation is free. If you hire me, I will not get a fee unless there is a recovery. And this has been true for me and my firm for more than 30 years. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Now at North Park Chevrolet, buy a new 2024 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, posted at $34,999. Lease for $370 a month with zero down. Get 3.9% financing for 75 months on new 2025 Silverado Crew Cab Texas editions. And save $10,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Silverado heavy-duty trucks. Together, let's drive at North Park Chevrolet. 10 minutes outside Loop 410 in Castroville or at npchevy.com. Must qualify for financing offers. Call 830-355-2107 for full price and offer details.
The King of Paddle, a premier pickleball and paddle club in downtown San Antonio, is now open. And we're taking the Blitz live this Thursday from 2 to 6. State-of-the-art indoor courts, vibrant atmosphere in one location. Located at 314 Nolan Street. Join us at the King of Paddle this Thursday.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now at Staples. Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in-store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down! Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We do have a couple of trouble spots that are causing some major delays on Loop 410 eastbound just past Callahan. This wreck has 2 left lanes blocked. That's about a 25-minute delay. Stop and go from Military Drive. And then on the south side of downtown on I-10 westbound at Proban, this wreck has 2 left lanes blocked. A 50-minute delay heavy from Martin Luther King. Dickler, the wreck at 410 northbound just past Quintana. Looks like we do have an accident 35 Frontage Road northbound at Forum Parkway. The left turn only lane blocked. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas as the two sides agreed to mutually part ways. It's not me, it's you. The search begins. McCarthy set to interview, it appears, with the Saints and the Bears. The Cowboys have Kellen Moore as a name to watch, according to Ian Rappaport. In the NFL, the Vikings fell to the Los Angeles Rams 27-9 in what was a lackluster wild-card weekend completion. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, we were talking during the break about a couple guys who, like you mentioned, who did you mention that was Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Was a college coach first. I mean, now you're going back to Stone Age times.
I really am.
Paul Brown coached at Ohio State before he went to Cleveland and won his NFL championships pre-Super Bowl. But I think Jimmy Johnson and Jim Harbaugh might be the most recent good example of a guy who started in college and has had success in the NFL. But it's a rare thing. Most of the guys who have had success, like I said, are Pete Carroll or Tom Coughlin types, guys who were NFL guys who took a job in college and had some success, and then went back and had more success in the NFL.
About Coughlin at Boston College.
Yeah,
he was,
but he started in the NFL.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, that's where most of these guys build it. But, Freedom Ride says Jimmy was a college coach, Barry was a college coach, so is Deion, and he's at the right price for Jerry. He's not at the right price. He's not. It's $8 million literally
to talk.
$8 million to even get him in the door, and that's before you pay his salary. That's $8 million you're giving to the University of Colorado.
I don't think Jerry's afraid to pay anybody. I really don't. I think he takes great pride sometimes in paying people too much, because it makes him look good too. I can afford it.
But
so
he's
I don't
cheap about coaches.
He is, and I agree. But this is I can keep saying, this is Jerry's last head coach hire. I don't think he's going to hire another one.
Ooh, you might be right.
I mean, we're talking, he's 82. And whoever's going to come into this deal ain't leaving anytime soon. And if he does leave, is going to leave with a lot of money in his pocket, because I ain't taking this job without some serious reassurance and some absolute leverage. You fire me, you pay me a lot on the day I walk out the door. So it's going to cost him to bring in somebody on the back end and also on the front end. I'm not coming into this knowing full well what I'm stepping into without a little bit of money. I mean, this job is not as good a job as when McCarthy took it the last time. It's not. It was a better job when McCarthy took it 5 years ago.
I agree. B. Hannon says Cliff hasn't had success anywhere as a head coach. You're right. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Like, I think Cliff's a great offensive coordinator. I don't want him to be the head coach. Now, Alexandra says Deion isn't leaving Boulder. He's already announced it. No, he
said he
didn't.
loves the Colorado family. He didn't say he ain't leaving.
This is his quote. To hear from Jerry Jones is truly delightful, and it's intriguing. I love Jerry and believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing. But I love Boulder and everything there is about our team, the coaches, our student body, and the community. And then he leaves it at that.
Yep.
He doesn't talk about, like, I mean, he can say it's intriguing and I love where I'm at. You could say, well, I love the job I've got now, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't leave it for the right opportunity.
And even if he said,
certainly didn't say he won't, he certainly didn't announce that he is not leaving Colorado.
Even if he said he was staying. There's been 100 coaches that literally
they'll lie right to your face the day before.
To your face. Was it Brian Kelly that was literally saying I'm a Notre Damer as the contract was being done in the back room?
Yeah, and then he was speaking in a Southern accent the next
day.
day.
Overnight. So, no, even if he said, no, I love Boulder and I'm never leaving. Shoot, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's a dollar amount. Or, everything can be negotiated.
And I wouldn't put anything past, using that as leverage. So, Deion's no fool. If you want me, you're going to pay through the nose, and you will come kiss my ring for once.
1 or 11. I'm with Rob. I've been a Dallas fan for a long time. If we're not going to win, we might as well have some fun. Bring in Prime. Well, if you're if you have just resigned yourself, like
I have until Jerry is gone.
If you're the Cleveland Browns now and you're like, well, we're not going to win, so we might as well just.
I look at it more like, remember when the A's were terrible, but they had a fun game experience? What's the guy, Charlie?
You're talking about Billy Bean?
Well, even before that, the owner of the A's, Charlie whatever, realized there's no way I'm ever going to compete, but I'm going to put a product on the field that's going to be fun as hell. And just went out with that way and made money.
You want the Cowboys to be the Savannah Bananas.
We already are. We are the Savannah Bananas. We already are that. So why not own it? We don't care about Super Bowls. We have an owner that tried to usurp the kickoff of the NFL season by overpaying his quarterback by about $100 million an hour before kickoff. And he, knowing full well, that's going to end my head coach's career. Yeah. He knew at the moment he signed that, it's over for my coach. I don't know how it's going to end, but it won't be pretty. And went with it. We're already the Savannah Bananas. We just don't sell tickets to say, come and watch us do some kind of somersault in the end zone. But we will if you'll pay for it.
Freedom Ride says Jerry's already said his next contract will be primarily based on results bonuses. That's not laying out the money up front. Well, again, like I said, you'll have to pay $8 million to get him out of Colorado before anything. Secondly, what serious head coach is going to take a job that's like a commission job? Like, what are you?
You could say that.
That's just that. I didn't hear Jerry say that. If he did say that, he is doing everything he can to make this look like a not desirable job.
Well, that's the other part of this. Maybe he makes it so difficult to get that only Jason Witten can stand in. Only guy who can get the job is a guy that he could absolutely stick his hand up his ass and make him a puppet.
Yeah, Jason Witten's like, wait, $2 million a year?
I'm down.
Extra $5 if I win a Super Bowl? Deal. Like, but no
self-respecting,
no serious professional head coach is going to accept that. They're just not. Like, they're going to say, this is my salary, and there's a bonus structure, but I'm going to be paid. That's the other thing. If you expect a coach to deal with being the head coach of the Cowboys, which is not an easy job, you've got to compensate them at least fairly.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you got to be the highest paid coach in the league, because you shouldn't be the highest paid coach in the league unless your name's Andy Reid or something like that. But you've got to at least be competitive in the world of pay, because this job is more difficult than your average NFL job.
Oh, especially after what happened to the now recently let go coach. If I'm a head coach and I watch what that owner did to him over the last 3 days, I know that'll never happen to me.
Yeah.
In fact, if I get into the last year of my contract and we haven't renegotiated, there's an automatic 15% kicker. If you haven't given me a new contract and you're going to fire me, go ahead and fire me now. But if you let me go into that last season, which no coach has ever gone into a situation like that, I'm going to make sure it ain't me either. I'm not coaching that last year unless you're going to pay through the nose or fire me, but don't make me do that.
I think the Cowboys were paying McCarthy, I think, $4 a year. And so just think about that. To get Prime away from Colorado, to get him on a jet out of Boulder to Dallas would cost $8 million.
Yeah, but
now is Coach Prime going to take $4 million a year?
No, he'll take about $8. But
he gets $6 a year at Colorado.
Yeah, it'll take about $8 a year, and it'll take 5 years. But I keep telling you, he's worth that. He'll make Jerry more than $8 million a year just by walking in the door. He will make Jerry $1 million just by being there. Just $1 million a year just for saying he's going to be the Cowboy head coach. So there's $1 million in merchandise right off the top. Whether we don't win a game, I'll make $1 million more next year than I made this year just because Deion is here. And that's the start. That's if we go 0-16 and all I sell is primetime jerseys. I'll make another $1 million. That off the top. So you think he can? Again, Deion is not a coach in the truest sense. He's an asset. He's another company that Jerry bought to make some more money. He is an oil well. He is, it might be a dry hole, but on the other side of it might be worth $100 million.
I guess that's when you say it's worth it. The idea that Deion is worth more money than a coach like Matt LaFleur or Kevin O'Connell or, quite frankly, Sean McVay.
He's worth more money. He is. He's not a better coach. Not even in the same hemisphere. But as far as value for investment, for the $8 million I pay, he'll make me 12.
It just seems like such a backwards ass hillbilly way of thinking. And I'm not. I don't mean that.
You're talking about a hillbilly from Arkansas. So yes.
Wow. Well,
how do you think we got here? How do you think we're sitting where we are right now?
Well, you don't hire a big fat coach like Mike McCarthy, who there's nothing sexy about Mike McCarthy as a head coach.
Well, this is 5 years ago.
You don't hire that guy, but because you think he is up in your brand or your Q rating. It seemed like they hired him because they thought he was a good football coach.
That was 5 years ago, and they did. And look where it got.
And they're done hiring qualified guys for the position.
I've hired very qualified dudes and sat and watched football games in January, and I've hired Dan Campbell or Dave Campo and Chan Gailey and Barry Switzer, and it's a crapshoot. But I know this: if I'm going to be sitting home in January, I'd rather be wealthier. I'd rather have more money than less. I'd rather come home with just a little bit more money so that when I do watch the Super Bowl chance go to Disney World, I can open up my app and look at my bank account. I got that to feel good about. So, yeah, I think he has evolved to the point where if I'm never going to win, I better make a whole bunch of money because this is it. This is the swan song. I'm going to go out with a bang, not a whimper. Won't involve a Super Bowl, but you're going to talk about me every day.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. And I think what I've learned today is the hire is going to tell you a lot about what Jerry's priorities are going forward.
No question.
And if Jerry's and quite frankly, I mean, if I were Jerry, I'd probably realize what you've realized, that this thing is so far away from winning a championship that you might as well just make as much money as you can off of it. But again, that comes down to, does Jerry's ego allow him to think that?
He's 82. He's further away today than he was a year ago. He's in on a quarterback that he can't get away from for another 2 years. He's about to, I'll say it again, he's about to pay his defensive side of the ball, the highest contract any defensive player's ever gotten, and he's already done it with the other side of the ball. He is hamstrung financially for the next 5 years, no matter what he does. So if I'm not going to win and I can't get the Jimmies and Joes to match the X's and O's, I want dollar signs.
Well, we'll see what he does. We haven't even talked about the playoff football game that happened last night. Isn't that kind of wild that we've been on the air for
it was a half-ass game,
almost 2.5 hours. We now know who's playing in the next round of the NFC playoffs, and we haven't even addressed that game happened last night. We'll do that next. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I got to tell you guys about Karbach Brewing, the fine, fine nectar from my friends over at Karbach. And guys, Karbach's got something for everyone's taste. If you're into an IPA, the in-your-face bitterness of Hopadillo is probably right up your alley. If you're looking for something a little smoother, a little easier to sip on, the Love Street is their best seller. It's their blonde-style Kolsch, and it seems to be the especially the ladies' choice. The ladies love Love Street. I'm a big fan of the Crawford Bock, but again, something for everyone's taste with Karbach, and it is all over the city, from the H-E-Bs to the liquor stores, but in your bars and restaurants, even the places you might not think have something like that, because they won't have fancy beer. Trust me, it's not like that. Karbach is all over the city. So if you haven't tried it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Get out there and try you some. If you have, you know that it's an upgraded drinking experience, guys. So when you're out and about this week, or even this weekend, when you're doing the football thing all over again, ask your bartender to make it a Karbach.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down! Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the celebration for the Houston Texans continues. Indy Kalu will have something to say about that.
He joins us at 3:35 with Mike McCarthy officially out in Dallas. What's next for the Cowboys? We'll have the latest rumor mill.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Burn, 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 burn. Burn. Oh, yeah. Rob's about to kick it.
Looking for
Ready,
my
Rob?
juice.
Where the blip you at? But I know you got your gat. I don't know how you can even bleep this song out.
Well, that's about...
Don't even respect your ass.
Yeah.
That's why it's time for the
Seconds.
doctor to check your ass.
Gosh.
Used to be my ace.
Golly.
Now I want to slap the taste out your mouth. Make you bow down to the row.
Yeah,
Effing me, now I'm effing you, little hoe.
Wow.
Dang. That was some gangster stuff right there.
Yeah, good old stuff.
Man, brought out the hood in me.
The thug life.
I don't like people to know that I'm from the streets.
You're from the street.
But every once in a while, Vic plays a song that brings it out of me, and they're like, "Oh my God, AJ's."
Yeah, remember that?
AJ's of the streets. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes,
had a
he is.
starter jacket. I had a starter jacket. That's tough.
I would have stole it from you, bitch.
I stole mine. I stole mine.
Give me your shoes.
I would have stole it from you.
I would have said, give me your shoes. What size are they? You would have said, 11 and a half. They didn't fit me. I was like, still give them to me.
Come walk the streets of
Them Debo shoes now. That's what I would have said.
Indian Creek. Go hang the corners of Five Palms.
Yeah, good luck.
The rough areas of Ray Ellison.
Well,
Ghetto make you hard.
I don't know nothing
Seen
about
things.
that.
I've seen things, Vic.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about them streets, but
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
oh, really?
Well, back then it was.
Couldn't have been that
Yeah.
bad. You guys made it. You
Yeah,
guys are soft, and you
barely.
made it.
Hard. I can
almost got-
attest firmly that no playing card has ever cut my hands. I've never.
Well, in your hoods, they don't hide razor blades in the playing cards.
No.
So when we play spades, they're like, oh, they're trying to cut your finger off.
No, we play Uno in the hood.
That's right.
Shoots and ladders, baby.
Go fish.
For pink slips.
Homie.
Go fish. Old maid.
Do you have a donkey?
Go fish.
The LA Rams moved on. Rob and I both thought that they would win this game, and boy, I certainly didn't think it would be this. I thought it was going to be close, well-contested game. Am I wrong for feeling some, I don't know if it's sadness, but I feel empathy or sympathy maybe for Sam Darnold?
He should have skipped the bowl game. You heard his draft status.
Oh,
He
man.
should have stayed home and made some money as a free agent. He cost himself, what do you figure, $5 million last night? $1 million a year?
No, I'm telling you this. I don't know now if Sam Darnold, like, I think before the Lions game, there was the real thought that the Vikings' hand had been forced, that the Vikings were going to have to re-sign Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold won 14 football games this year. 14. There is a short list of players in the history of the NFL who have won 14 games, and Sam Darnold is now on that list with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like, it is an elite group. And had he...
Well, has 2 games changed your attitude about it? I mean, seriously, we have 14 good films, and we got 4 unbelievably bad ones where he looked like the Darnold of Carolina, the Darnold of the Jets. He looked like that guy.
And that's the problem is we have so much bad film, bad priors on Sam Darnold that he really needed to, like, make us feel like this was a no-doubter. Like, he'd really figured it out. And had he had these 2 games, week 1 and week 2, I think we'd be feeling okay about Sam Darnold right now.
Yeah.
The problem is he chose, and I don't think he actually, like, made the active choice, but he had his 2 worst games of the season, back-to-back weeks, in the 2 biggest games in his career, quite frankly.
They were. Not quite frankly. Last week was the biggest game of his career, to be followed by an even bigger game.
Yeah.
And he's never played anything bigger, not even in college, and failed miserably. But at the end of the day, I think while Minnesota is heartbroken today, best thing that could have happened is Darnold needs to re-sign with Minnesota, stay in the safety blanket that O'Connell has offered. Minnesota needs to keep him and continue to work toward McCarthy. They've already got the answer in the building, they believe. It cost him some money. Darnold's not going to go anyplace now. Nobody's going to go chase him down. You're going to save some money in the free agent market. It's the best thing that could have happened to him long term. Now, we know who Sam Darnold is, and until he proves otherwise, I don't think he's going to get a shot to. I don't see them getting back to this. 14 wins with this Minnesota team and the schedule they're going to have next year.
And maybe losing Brian Flores, too.
It's not going to be as easy. So I fall on the side of continuity. I think in the long term, it might actually help Minnesota because he'll stay now, and we know he's capable in the minor games. And let's get him ready for the big ones. Let's hope we can get back to him.
Where do you figure his salary falls?
I still think he falls in the Baker Mayfield area. I mean, one thing he's proven, and you just said it, is he has won 14 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else out there that can say it. So I look at, $30 million, 20 to $30 million a year over 3 or 4, I think is where he's going to land.
So if you look at the quarterbacks in the NFL, the way that the pay is set up, there are, you get to about number 19, which is Geno Smith.
Well, I think that's a pretty fair.
He makes $25 million a year.
That's right where my boy lands. That's where he should be.
The 20th highest paid quarterback makes $12.5 million, literally half that. That is the line of demarcation.
And you know what? Maybe he's closer to the 12, but because Geno is exactly what Darnold is, a life backup that got an opportunity and capitalized on it, but we all know there's a reason why you weren't always considered the number one, and every now and then it comes back to bite us in the ass. There are things you can't do. But in the meantime, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
But even if you pay a quarterback $25 million, that's your quarterback.
Yeah, but I've got JJ for nothing for the next 3 years. I got a quarterback under nothing, and he's going to rehab, and he'll get every opportunity. It's an ideal bridged number, really. I mean, he's good enough to win 14 games. I don't want Minnesota to get worse in waiting for JJ, but I do think that it helped Minnesota make a decision that they might have faced a tough one if he'd have gone out and taken this team to an NFC championship game or something like that. And then you seriously got to think, do I need to trade this McCarthy for pieces that help me get to the Super Bowl next year? I think last night and the last 2 weeks have shown him we got to invest in this offensive line.
Yeah,
that's where the money's got to go.
9 times Sam Darnold was sacked.
And I'd much rather Darnold get the crap beat out of him than my prized rookie that's already got a ding on him.
Now, the question becomes, if $25 million is the going rate, are the Giants in on Sam Darnold? Are the I don't know who else could possibly be. I mean, are the Colts interested in Sam Darnold?
Yes.
So
yes.
Are the?
But I ain't paying $25 million.
Are the New York Jets interested? Well, what are you paying then?
I'm lowballing, but I don't know what Minnesota is. But I do know there's a quarterback available to me right now that won 14 games. So it would be malpractice of me as a general manager who's looking for a quarterback not to call and find out, because I might get this cat cheap. I might evaluate him at a $15 million a year quarterback, and so has everybody else. And I go offer 16, still below my budget, and I get him? It could actually happen because of the last 2 weeks, because there's some teams that are out on him now. There are. That we're interested, but now, no, that's the Sam we remember.
Yeah, and the question is which Sam Darnold is the real one, and that's going to be the most difficult question for whoever writes him a check to ask, because I saw some games where Sam Darnold looked like a top 12, 13 quarterback in the league. And I was like, and I don't believe that he is that, but I also don't know that I believe he is what we saw the last 2 weeks either. I mean, and now the thing that worries me is there was pressure, and you don't want a quarterback who is less in pressure situations. That's not ideal at all. Because I saw when Sam Darnold lost to the Rams the first time, which, by the way, it's funny. He goes he goes 13-4 or 14-4 on the season. All 4 losses were to the Rams and the Lions. He only lost to 2 teams. He just lost to them both twice. But when he lost the Rams game the first time, I thought he played really well, and they didn't do enough to win the game. This time it was like, and he didn't play. Sam Darnold didn't play as bad as he certainly didn't play like he played against the Lions. Against the Lions, he was inept. Last night he was
running for his life.
He didn't really have much of a chance. He wasn't bad. I mean, he threw the 1 pick. But he completed 63% of his passes, which is serviceable.
But serviceable doesn't get you $30 million a year.
Well, no, it literally does.
Well, I don't think he's going to. I think
Geno Smith got 30.
I agree.
That's what it gets you.
But I think he's going to fall right in that range, and I don't think Minnesota's upset about it. I would be perfectly happy to get what I got and hope that he can maintain that for a couple of years, because I got a little bit of time.
How do you think Minnesota fan feels about it, though?
Oh, Minnesota's been kicked in the nuts so many times. I think the best thing that could happen to Minnesota is everybody take a deep breath and look in another sport and look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and just go, you know what? We got enough here. Let's find a couple pieces and parts, but let's do as little as possible to affect this team. I want to keep everybody worth, that I can afford. Certainly some guys have earned some more money, but I want to change nothing.
I think that's kind of where I'm at, but I also think you're probably going to lose Brian Flores. People are going to start picking at that offense. They're going to start poaching pieces off that. Mm-hmm. You've got to build a line, and you don't have draft capital to do it now. You don't have a high draft pick. They're in a weird spot, but I especially if they think McCarthy is ready, like if he's the dude, and it's sort of almost. I hate to say it's an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation, but
kind of is. Well, I mean, you got a quarterback who knows his replacements in the building, and Kirk Cousins wilted under that. We know that Rodgers hated it, Favre hated it, and I can't imagine that anybody worth his salt that after a year of being the QB1, even Darnold's going to hate it. You don't want your replacement standing right beside you.
Sam Darnold finished the year 14th in QBR. Let's do a quick exercise. Next year, I'm gonna name the quarterbacks below him. You tell me if next year this player is better or worse than Sam Darnold. Tua.
Well, he's already a better quarterback.
No, but will he have a better year next year than Sam Darnold?
By the numbers or wins? Because by the numbers, the offense is built. Yes, he'll have better numbers. Yes.
Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Drake May.
No.
Bo Nix.
Yes. He'll have better numbers.
Jameis.
No.
Bryce Young.
Dead even. Those are the same guy. In different parts of their career, but the same guy.
Geno Smith.
Same guy, but an older version.
Russell Wilson.
Same.
Kirk Cousins.
See, that's another one. I don't know what to make of Kirk Cousins, but right now, same guy.
C.J. Stroud.
Oh, not even close.
C.J. Stroud's
not even
C.J.
close.
Stroud stunk this year when you really look at the numbers. C.J. Stroud was not good this year.
I will show you the one highlight of him dropping the ball, picking it up, running to the sideline, and throwing a dart.
Dribbling it.
Shoot, that's enough.
He should have crossed over is what I would
He would have done it. It would have been just about impossible, but he could have done it.
Aaron Rodgers.
No, not even close. No, he's better than Aaron is now.
Anthony Richardson.
Depends on what offense I'm running, but I'd rather have Sam than Richardson.
Daniel Jones.
They're same guy, man. Same guy.
Daniel Jones wasn't even active for the game yesterday for the Vikings.
But
so
you know what?
If they would have gone to a backup, it would have been what's his name? Mullins. Like
Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
I do believe that he does provide a bit of a safety net. I mean, Dimes has got a lot of stink on him, and the best thing that could be is for him to go away. But some of the things he does really well is one of the things that Minnesota needed. They needed some legs last night.
I've said for a long time, I would like to have Daniel Jones as a backup quarterback.
I think that I wouldn't be.
I just don't want him to be my franchise quarterback.
If you look at your possibility with Jones and Darnold over the next couple of years, that's not a bad place to be.
Caleb Williams.
I don't know, AJ, but my gut says I got to stick it out with Caleb. I do. And so I'm going to take Caleb over Darnold.
Dak Prescott?
Dak's a better quarterback.
Which, by the God, that tells you where Dak's numbers were this year. 29th in QBR. Cooper Rush. You're thinking about this way longer than I would have thought.
Yeah.
I just
Cooper
told
won
you
some games, too.
Sam Darnold won 14 games this year.
And Cooper won it under some duress. He's not – Darnold's better, but Cooper's got some stability that I appreciate.
Gardner Minshew.
Same guy, man.
Now, this is tough for you. This is the worst QBR in the league. Will Levis.
Now, come on. I mean, we got the total package with Will.
Yeah.
Darnold's far better than that. Yeah,
so
Darnold's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That's what it sounds like to me. Is like Sam Darnold should be a starter in the NFL. There's not enough guys below him that are like.
No. And he'd be a steal. If you can go get a quarterback for $25 million that'll go win 14 freaking football games, that's why you get a Jefferson and a Jones behind them. They just their offensive line let them down, but they spent money the right way. They did.
And I would rather have Sam Darnold than any quarterback in this draft class.
I agree with that.
Like and what's crazy is they're going to spend first-round picks on guys who I think are not as good as Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold he literally crapped his pants at the worst possible time. I mean,
he's the definition of a bridge. Definition. But that's perfect. They needed a bridge.
But the thought was 2 weeks ago. Remember 2 weeks ago, he goes in the locker room and they're showering him with champagne or I don't know what they were throwing. I think it was water, but they were like spraying water all over him, picking him up over their heads. Like he was about to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, can you imagine if, say, he'd come up lame? I'm telling you, he should have skipped the bowl game. Should have just held out and said, you know what, it will hurt my draft stock. I'm going to go work out with my coaches, and I'll see you next year.
And that maybe the most embarrassing thing about last night, and this really, as a guy who really, really loves Kevin O'Connell, it really turned me off that the fourth quarter of that game, he coached to not get embarrassed. Like they were running play clock. They were down 3 scores, but it's the playoffs, dude. You fight and scratch and claw and an onside kick and do whatever you can because there is no – and I would rather lose by 1 million points than what they did last night in the fourth quarter. You know what it reminded me of is Kirk Cignetti, what he did. My buddy was like, oh, it's much like Indiana against Ohio State. They knew they were losing, so they said, well, let's just keep it close and not get blown out. Like, that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you.
You know what? I would agree or disagree. I didn't watch the game. It was so far over. I left, so I didn't see what they did. I saw the final. I saw the first half, and I knew it was over.
Yeah, I was very frustrated. And thankfully, I bet on the Rams, or otherwise I would have been really pissed if I was, like, asking you to cover. But, yeah, this was that was disappointing to see Kevin O'Connell just kind of mail it in and say, let's just get out of here with our dignity. Like, screw your dignity, man. Go die trying.
Well, they're acting like a team that will try to keep everybody together, learn from the lessons, be a team that values continuity over everything else. And I think there'll be more success coming. And you know now, though, that when you come to your next big game, the expectations of what Darnold is capable of need to be kind of hedged back. You're going to have to focus on a different thing that he's good at to go win a playoff game. Because if you're wanting him to, drop a dime or throw the dart to win the game, don't bank on that. It's not coming.
And you know what? We've seen a few guys this year because, quite frankly, Justin Herbert's the same thing. Justin Herbert's reputation this season had taken such an uptick until that playoff game, and then it was like, what? That's that. Same with Jordan Love.
We are what we thought you were.
And now when you lose in these big games, and that's sort of the harsh reality of the NFL, because imagine every time Michael Jordan lost a playoff game, not a playoff series, lost a playoff game that we were like,
well, we got a year to talk about it. It's over.
You just can't play.
Yep.
I mean, we'd
maybe next year he'll get a shot.
Right. It's just like, he just can't. He's not built for the moment. That's the tough thing about the NFL, man. Like it is very, very hard to win playoff games in the NFL, and that's really all you're judged on. Ask Dak. Ask Tony Romo. Like, oh, cool, regular season wins, numbers. Ask Phillip Rivers. God, there was some Chargers guy who was like Phillip Rivers, just like he was using Phillip Rivers as a negative connotation for a quarterback.
Guy who threw for 20,000 yards
and won more games in the history of the Chargers organization than anyone. And it was like Phillip Rivers was a pejorative. Like it's what? Because he didn't win a Super Bowl. That's the harsh reality of the NFL. And that's Baker caught some of it this year. Certainly Jordan Love. Certainly Justin Herbert, and probably most of all Sam Darnold. Although none of us looked at Sam Darnold like he was ever going to be elite, but it certainly hurt him as much as it did those other guys.
The other guys, you go, you are what we thought you were. With Darnold, you go, I got to reevaluate no matter the outcome. He might be more of what we thought he was, but not nearly what we expected today. So, what's that old saying? You better be thought a fool than speak and prove it. Well, he spoke and proved it.
All right, we'll be back. Wrap up the third hour of the program. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How you feeling this morning? Anything paining you, keeping you out of your life? It sounds funny, but the older you get, or if you've ever had something that just lingers, something painful that just you really have to consider what you're doing that day to see if you can actually do it because of the pain. And so many of us get stuck in that rut. If that's you, there's a fix out there, and it doesn't involve a pill in a bottle. It's a Rosti. Rosti providers are all around San Antonio with one specific mission in mind, and that's to get you out of pain. And that's one thing. It's how they do it that's another, because it's not the idea of like a couple pills and maybe it'll linger and go away, or maybe there's some kind of long-term rehab process that involves some surgery that we can use to fix it. That has nothing to do with a Rosti. It's a Rosti uses, well, they harness your body's power to fix itself. It really is ridiculously easy. It works. I'm living proof. I had lower back issues for the longest time. They'd flare up at the worst possible moment, and I'd spend the next month limping around if I could move at all. I stumbled into an Rosti provider. He bent me and stretched me and poked me and did all the stuff, and before you knew it, I was back in the game. I became a lifetime Rosti patient. I want that for you. Now, to be an Rosti patient isn't that hard. They accept most insurances, and here's the deal. You don't even need a referral to go to see one of the many providers around San Antonio. So write this number down. It's 1-800-404-6050. Now, that's the easiest way to go, but if you want to schedule on the website, it's Rosti.com, and there's a map of the providers. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are right now. Listen, don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. There's a fix. It's called a Rosti. Call them today and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We have a couple of new trouble spots. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway, accident blocking the left lane. That's a 20-minute delay, slow from Bitters. On 14 eastbound Perrin Vital, an accident, stop and go from Nacogdoches. And on I-10 westbound at Probat, this wreck taking up 2 left lanes, causing a 45-50-minute delay. Traffic stop from Martin Luther King. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
South Texas College Football Headquarters. Wonderful time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play. Up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Gino. What's this band?
Saga. Remember them?
No.
Oh.
No, you were, I think, 6.
Yeah, you were about 5.
Yeah.
I believe you get your ass kicked. You listen to this music around me.
I thought this was like Gino Vanelli.
Yeah.
Saga. No one can stop us.
This was like a popular
we're
song
on the loose. Yeah. Early 80s.
Was it on like a soundtrack?
It sounds like a soundtrack record.
Yeah, I don't
It was
remember.
more of an MTV video than it was a song.
Yes.
Wow.
It was all over MTV.
Yeah.
I have the
Saga.
I found this cassette, by the way.
These guys suck.
Well, they went on to a long and prosperous accounting career.
Saga.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like we ever heard from them again.
Yeah,
but
that was
See,
it.
I want to see what they look like.
They look probably exactly like you expect them to look.
Oh,
I think I remember the album cover with...
Yeah.
Saga, Canadian rock band. Yep,
Well,
I'm
see,
out.
you got to keep in mind that this was back in the day of Loverboy, and there were a lot of bands coming out of Canada. And Loverboy kind of started a pipeline, so I'm not surprised Saga followed that.
Did Loverboy start the pipeline, or did Rush start the pipeline?
Well, Rush was an entirely different genre. But yeah,
Okay.
Rush is the greatest Canadian band ever.
Do you love Rush?
I do.
I do.
I do. Rush is one of the...
You had
Geddy
to,
Lee.
you had to be there.
Geddy Lee was one of the greatest rock bassists, and then the drummer is probably the greatest drummer of all time in any genre.
Yeah. Neil Peart.
Neil Peart.
Or
So,
Pierre.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rush sucks.
What?
Yeah.
Dude. You know, when people say things to me like that, when you say Rush sucks,
They weren't alive
you
when
just
it
get
was
discounted immediately. What about Rush sucks?
Besides the music?
What are you talking about?
You're
swimming against the stream. No one says that.
What I can say is I can appreciate their musicianship. I appreciate that they are good at playing the instruments that are in their hands.
Uh-huh.
3-man band.
I don't like the music that they create. Is that a fair thing?
Well, every band is a product of their time. And if you have to look back at the late 70s and early 80s at what had been, because we were coming out of the monster anthem bands. We had them. The Stones were huge, and everything was
Zeppelin,
big shows and big bands. And then out of nowhere, out of Canada, comes a precise rock band that viewed precision and musicality over showmanship. And for a couple of records, 2112 is one of the greatest records ever made. I mean, from front to back, the writing, the musicianship, and everything in between was quintessential early 80s precision rock. And there were a couple that hit, like Triumph was a precision rock band. They tried to be, they weren't loose. Everything, you heard Rush, you heard the record, and you saw them in concert, and it was the same.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect musicianship.
Same thing with Judas Priest.
But I think that the better music comes from these guys who are too drugged up to even play their own songs in the studio.
They were the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
They really were. They were the other side of that. Geddy Lee wasn't barfing and, he wasn't going nuts behind the scenes. And Neil Peart was drumming every day of his life. He was in Africa drumming with, picking up a different rhythm. You didn't expect to see. There was no drug worries with them, even though
give me John Bonham over.
But Keith, you're right. And Bonham, different kind of drummer, and there was a recklessness to that, and they got away. There was no recklessness with Rush. They were just awesome.
Yeah, it's just not the music's not for me. Like I get it that I'm not. I'd never try to like say, they can't play. Like no, they're clearly good musicians.
But they're not to kick the trash can over and barf and just the epitome of what rock and roll is. Fast. No, that's not them. You and our takes on rock and roll are just very differing. Well,
because you're a U2 man.
Well,
and
U2's different, but that's a personal thing. But I come from a time where music was very much in its transition stage, late 70s into the 80s. Things changed radically. You come from the late 80s into the 90s. Things changed radically. I mean.
But I also grew up on the Beatles and the Stones and Zeppelin and the Who and Queen. Like those are the bands that I listened to growing up. That I like.
Because you had parents of substance.
That's right.
You were raised right.
That's right. Proper. ZZ Top.
Yes.
But my parents, they didn't bring no Rush LPs into the house. I tell you,
they were a quintessential band, man. They were part of my early high school years. Everybody I knew had at least one or two cassettes of Rush. You just did.
We didn't go for Canadian rock in my house.
I remember the first time I saw them, and I thought, "That's them, them?
Oh yeah,
that's Geddy Lee.
Yeah,
really? Now you couldn't see Neil Peart because the drums. You never saw him. You just saw sticks coming up above and the cymbals, but you never actually saw him. It was just this radical band.
Unless they were on MTV.
Oh yeah, that had another huge role in it.
That was our internet back
then. They were an MTV rock band. We saw them.
Yeah, Geddy Lee's weird looking.
He's a weird looking cat, man. It's really a letdown. Yeah.
I don't like the way he looks, but what are you going to do? You can't control everything. When we come back, we're going to start the last hour of the show. And in that last hour of the show, we're going to discuss Los Spurs de San Antonio. Got a good win last night.
I'm not sure that was us.
You think that was
blue-green uniform? And when they go on the road and they show, they have the logo and the score. Like they'll have the Spurs, like the Spur, and they'll say 21, and the Lakers have the Laker logo, and they'll have the score. Well, they don't even use the typical Spur logo. They use that City Edition logo. So at two glances, you go, I don't even know who this team is.
You know what? I ran into that the other day, or maybe it was last night. I was watching a little bit of the Rockets and Grizzlies game. It was coming down to the wire, and my buddy had said, I've got so much money riding on this game. It ended a push, by the way. But I saw the Rockets were playing. I was like, who are the Rockets playing? Because it wasn't a grizzly bear. It was like some weird.
Yeah, at least give me the logo so I have some idea.
Yeah, you don't need to go that deep into it.
And that color freaks my TV out. It can't quite figure out.
Your fancy new TV?
No, this is my bedroom TV, my cheap.
Okay.
That,
your poor TV.
Yeah, the bedroom one. It can't quite figure out if it's like blue or green or white.
Grayish.
And every camera, and especially in LA when it has that unique lighting system where the crowd is basically black. It's dark right off the court. It freaks my TV out, man. It was like sometimes they were all white, and then at some point they looked like they were wearing Houston Oilers colors. I mean, it would go really blue the whole time. It freaks my TV out.
Well, did they give any clue during the broadcast last night about who is going to be or when they're going to make up that game?
I didn't hear. I didn't make it past the end of the second quarter, though. So when last I saw the Spurs, they were losing. Things changed when I turned off the TV.
Hey, Vic, can we not play Saga on this show ever again?
We're on the loose.
That was your only song, so that was it.
Cool.
How about some golden earring?
Let's just say we've gotten past that. All right, we'll be back. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new $7 Lux Cravings Box from Taco Bell with 3 indulgent full-size classics, chips, nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. At participating stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, joints, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. Offer ends soon.
Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
The King of Paddle, a premier indoor pickleball and paddle club in downtown San Antonio, is now open, and we're taking the Blitz there live this Thursday, 2 to 6. Food, drinks, and a chance to check out the King of Paddle at 314 Nolan Street.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down! Oh yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
It is playoff time. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Be like me and 5 million other happy players winning money watching games with their Pick'em game, where you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. You can cook up fire entries for a shot to win real cash prizes all playoff long. You can even take football and basketball and mix them together. Underdog is the only Pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with my promo code STAR, and deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR. Sign up today.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We have a couple of new trouble spots. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway, accident blocking the left lane. That's a 20-minute delay, slow from Bitters. On 14 eastbound Perrin Vital, an accident, stop and go from Nacogdoches. And on I-10 westbound at Probant, this wreck taking up 2 left lanes, causing a 45-50-minute delay. Traffic stop from Martin Luther King. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas as the two sides agreed to mutually part ways. It's not me, it's you. The search begins. McCarthy set to interview, it appears, with the Saints and the Bears. The Cowboys have Kellen Moore as a name to watch, according to Ian Rappaport. In the NFL, the Vikings fell to the Los Angeles Rams 27-9 in what was a lackluster wild-card weekend completion. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I got sent a video during the break of a
What?
a new show on TLC.
What?
Yeah, it passed my socials in the last 24 hours, too.
It's a gal who, her name is Baylin Dupree. Apparently, she is a social media influencer who has Tourette syndrome.
Which is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card.
Oh, yeah.
I got Tourette's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're bald.
Yeah, she's like,
You're
she
ugly.
says, I'm trying not to look at him. I'm trying not to look at him. And they're like, why? Because he's bald. And every time I see a bald person, I have to tell them that they're bald. And she went, you're bald. She said, my name's Baylin. I'm 21 years old. I have Tourette syndrome and a little bitty wiener. Spotted alone in the safari and an itty bitty little wiener. Can you imagine a girl like just randomly? I hate to laugh at things like that because I know it's probably a very difficult life for that gal.
Probably.
But it's also, I have a problem with, so here, this is what I think is not fair. I don't think anyone can watch something like that, even knowing that that's an affliction, and not think it's kind of funny. Like,
oh, it's all funny. You just kind of hold it back. You hold it back. Yeah.
Well, how come I have to hold it back and she doesn't?
As long as they're laughing.
Because she's diagnosed.
Well, no, as long as they're laughing
fair.
and you're not laughing at but with, I don't have a problem with that. She's obviously very aware. She wouldn't be on TV.
I got in trouble when I was in Houston because I was laughing at a stutterer.
Oh,
and
yeah, those are funny.
It's just
no, it's awful, man.
I hate it for them.
I feel so bad.
But I can't help what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
My disorder is I laugh at things that are funny.
Well,
yeah. Well, it depends on how bad the stutter
I don't want
is.
to have the same talk with you I had with my 4-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
But I also...
We don't laugh at everything, son.
I also laugh when people get hurt. Like when people
when they fall.
I laugh when people fall down in public. If I see you fall down in public, I'm going to laugh almost uncontrollably. Like I'm not. I'll try and help you up probably.
No, you won't.
But I will laugh. 100%.
Well, I mean, that's
laugh.
why the bloopers shows work. We all laugh as long as you're laughing with and not.
And
at.
I don't want people to get hurt to where they die. But I do like I like to see people fall off bicycles, and like that's funny to me.
Down the stairs.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. I like the silly ones, but in the moment I see somebody get hurt, I get that kind of like, oh no.
No, lately it's the falling on the ice when they walk outside and it's all icy.
That's funny to me.
Those are hilarious, especially when they're carrying groceries.
Fat guys, fat people on zip lines and swings. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. It's gonna be funny.
Almost
it's coming.
anything with fat people.
Yeah, fat
is
guys
funny.
on anytime your weight and leverage and speed are involved with fat people. It's funny.
It's glorious.
It's glorious. So, but they, as long as we're laughing with and not at.
Yeah.
With. But the girl with Tourette's who's got a TLC thing, and they go, well, you shouldn't be laughing. Well, why is she on TV?
Well, because TLC wants to interview her.
Well, I mean, they
to
also
bring awareness.
She knows she's got it, and she knows what she's going to say. They know what she's going to say, so they're like, I dare you not to laugh, you bastard. If you laugh
unfair.
at this.
It's unfair what they do to us people who don't have an affliction like that.
You bastard. You laughed at that.
I know.
We showed that to you for 30 minutes.
They make you feel so guilty.
Kept laughing.
You know what I watched on Netflix? The Jerry Springer documentary.
I did too, and that's another. Were you were of the age where you were consuming that as a young,
my God.
like a teenager?
I watched it every day.
It was such.
It was so good.
And you think about how we landed where we are today, both socially and economically and politically, and you go, well, I know how we got here.
Yeah.
When you watch Jerry Springer from 30 years ago,
my generation watched some things that we watched Beavis and Butthead. We like the things that really had not a whole lot of value other than it just made you laugh. And it was not, there were people complaining about these things. They're like, we shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's funny. Yeah. And Jerry Springer, like at the end of the Jerry Springer documentary, they say Jerry Springer was voted the worst television show of all time, which is laughable.
All time? No.
Yeah, they haven't seen there's Ricky Lake did a show that didn't have any of that funny stuff. She just had regular people. What's the point of that? Sally Jesse Raphael
They
did
were
a show
all
that
the same thing.
but they didn't have the crazy.
Yeah, they did.
No,
every one
not
of them had the pregnancy. They all did the same thing. It was just a different time slot on a different channel, but they were all the same.
Maury Povich was my favorite.
Maury was bad, but there was an OG. There's an OG guy out of New York, and I can't remember his name. That started all of this. I'll find his name. But
Geraldo.
No, it wasn't Geraldo. All of these, but again,
good guess.
Geraldo. All those guys they did the same thing, and there was a time back in the early '90s that every channel had to have
Oprah.
You're pregnant, and
Oprah didn't do it,
but she started that way. And
she started with
herself. Oh yeah, every talk show.
I'm sleeping with my wife's sister.
I mean, not that in your face, but absolutely. All talk shows started that way. I mean, but Oprah was the one that was able to elevate herself, and Jerry was the one that took it to the depths. He went the other direction.
I used to be attracted to Ricky Lake.
What?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. That when I remember that moment being like kind of a turning point for me, to where I knew that I liked a thicker woman. Yeah. Like I didn't like skinny girls. I was like,
me neither. Nah.
I was like, I kind of like Ricky Lake. She's kind of hot.
Was it Donahue?
Was that who you're talking about, Rob?
No, Donahue was upper class. No, this is
he was highbrow.
Yeah. Jenny Jones?
Oh, she was of the same ilk.
Yeah, the list is up there.
The backstory with this guy, as I Google him, was he was also kind of a basketball guy. Was a GM for the New Jersey Nets for a minute or two, but that's not how he got famous.
Who the hell is this
It'll
guy?
come up. It'll find. This is where the Brigade Bar comes in very handy. Late 70s, early 80s talk, cable talk radio.
Joe Franklin, Dennis Miller.
Well, he was. Joe Franklin. That's a whole other
Remember
story.
that?
Yeah.
Frank says if there's no Springer, there's no Maury. That's true.
That's absolute.
I loved Maury Povich too. He had such a good show. You Are Not the Father. I loved those.
Yeah.
He married Connie Chung.
I think he was married to Connie Chung while he was doing that trash show, which is the best part.
They married until he died.
She was like a very serious person, and he was so not. And that made me so happy. I also had forgotten that Jerry Springer died until the end of that episode, where it's like, Jerry Springer died in 2022 or 23. I was like, oh, I don't know that I remembered that. But yeah, it's an interesting documentary for sure. All right, and no, Phil Donahue was not the GM of the Brooklyn Nets.
No, he was not.
What? The Spurs last night,
Morton
Rob.
Downey Jr.
Oh, okay,
He
yeah.
started the genre. It was Morton Downey that started the whole thing.
I didn't know he had anything to do with the Nets.
Yeah, he was a basketball guy before he got on TV. It might not have been the Nets, but he worked in the ABA.
The Spurs the old show Cheaters. Oh, that was a great show. Yeah, good call.
If we're gonna reminisce of all the shows, when you look back on some weird ones, remember the show that lured the child predators to the house?
To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stopped.
I like that.
They stopped that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now they do it on the internet. People just do it on Twitter and just whoop the guy's ass.
Yeah. So that's what would happen now if they did that. They just, we're gonna have to shoot you now.
Yeah, that's the best, man. That's I love that stuff. I love when like they show up and they're like
the confrontation.
Yeah, you looking for a 12-year-old boy? And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And he's got a bag full of stuff.
And then he's like, I just want to leave. And they're like, hell no, Bubba, you ain't leaving. We're whooping your ass.
Yeah.
Why don't you just stick around till the cops show up? I just want to leave. Get him. Street justice.
Chopper.
I normally don't like street justice, but I'm really against child exploitation. So I do like when there's street justice on that.
Yeah, and then go deal with the other justice after that.
Yeah. The court system should take care of all other justice, but if you try to have sex with a kid, you should get it from the streets.
It's a bold statement.
Yep.
Get it from the streets, man.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
It's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I also believe that there should be a chemical castration for those sorts of things, but that's just my opinion, man. That's just like your opinion, man. All right. The Spurs last night, that is I would say a much needed win, and it came in a way that a lot of these games, it was like the opposite of all the games that they've wrecked recently. Like we got a lead, piss it off in the last 10 minutes. They dominated the fourth quarter of that game last night.
Well, a couple things that came into play. They got a couple of days of practice. They looked like a team with a lot of bounce. And in the first quarter, both teams were on fire. Both teams shot the lights out in the first half. And as we watched the Rams go play a playoff game in Glendale because L.A. was on fire and, all the emotion that went on with the Rams, the Lakers weren't all the way in that game last night.
Yeah.
You could tell that LeBron played a pretty good first half. I didn't see the second half. But I do think that the wear and tear for the Lakers at home dealing with, other issues kind of caught up with them late. But in the first half, the Spurs were on fire, and it wasn't because of just hot shooting. It's because they were executing. They were running the plays as they were supposed to be run. We had cuts to the basket. Hell, they destroyed the Lakers in the second half, and Wemby ended with just 23 points. That tells you the kind of game that the Spurs played because they had a couple of days of practice. They executed correctly, and the most important thing for the rest of the season happened, and that's Devin Vassell showed up and became that second scorer. We're so much better when it's Devin that is the second scorer and not Keldon and not Chris Paul and not the other ones. When it's Devin who is the other scorer, we're a better basketball team. The floor is stretched, there are lanes to cut, and guys can do more things, but that only happens when Devin is on, and that happened last night.
Well, a couple other things. First of all, Steph Castle was also a very good scorer, 23 points. Wemby, Vassell, and Castle all had 23. But my biggest takeaway was, Wemby only had 23 points, but 2 of 6 from 3. 2 of 6, I'm going to live with.
Mm-hmm. And they were appropriate. Every three he took, at least in the first half that I saw, were appropriate. They were in fast break. They were in transition. You should have taken them.
Now I'll also note that he went 10 of 17 from the field overall. So if you want to do the math, that means he was 8 of 11 when he was near the basket, which, again, I would love to see him take more shots near the basket.
You brought up Steph Castle. He destroyed Austin Reeves last night.
That is very unsurprising to me.
Attacked him from beginning to end to the point where Redick had to pull Reeves out because Castle kept going at him. And to Chris Paul's credit and to Wemby's credit, every time they saw that matchup, Castle got the ball.
Frank said the Spurs game was 3 games: first half, third quarter, and fourth quarter.
Go on. What was the difference in the third and the fourth quarter? Because obviously they pressed on the gas there in the fourth.
Well, I mean, I think they got their ass kicked in the first half.
They were always within striking distance. And what struck me about that first half is how well they were shooting. I mean, the team was shooting pretty well, both sides. And, it got to about 10 or 12 points. So I was a little worried that things would fall apart in the fourth. And obviously, something flipped there in the fourth.
Man, Dalton Connect cannot get going.
He had a couple of activity plays in the first half that I thought were pretty impressive. He got a nice steal and a breakaway dunk. He took a nice shot. He also got his shot sent to about the fifth row from Wemby, thinking he had an open three, and he did not, and Wemby sent it into the stands. So he had a decent night, but they, at least in the first half, there just wasn't enough space on the floor for him. He couldn't get his shot off.
And then it feels like the Lakers are playing their old guys too many minutes. That's going to catch up with them down the stretch.
But, they'd come off with a couple of days rest, too, and there was a lot of bounce. LeBron really looked sharp. I'm quite frankly really amazed, and I'll go back and watch the second half tonight to see what they did in the fourth, because obviously that the fourth quarter had been the problem, and, we start questioning coaching and strategy and all that when you give up 20-point leads in the second half. But last night was the opposite. They pressed on the gas against a team that, quite frankly, felt like they could beat them.
Spurs host the Grizzlies tomorrow, so we'll see if the Spurs can get some momentum going after they shook that 3-game losing streak. Like I said, last time they lost 3 games in a row. They went on to win 4 of the next 5. Be a good time to run off a little tear here.
It's amazing what a little bit of practice for a young team can do.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on in the world outside of sports. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working trouble spots at 410 eastbound before Honeysuckle. This crash has only 2 right lanes getting by. Start moving over to your left side. This backup starts at Ever, so tack on at least an extra 45 minutes to your commute. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway, wreck in the left lane. That's a 30-minute delay from Northwest Military Highway. And then on 410 westbound McCullough, this wreck now off to the right shoulder. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with a Wendy's breakfast, like a breakfast Baconator, or a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or even a honey buddy. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? Gotta be Wendy's. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
George gets justice.
Hurt in a wreck? Get George. Hit by an 18-wheeler or commercial truck? Get George. Injured at work? Get George. When you're dealing with personal injury, you need to get George because George gets justice. I'm George Salinas, and my San Antonio-based firm has been recognized across the state of Texas and the United States. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play. Up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
GiveMeTheVin.com. Our expert buying team knows exotics, luxury cars, classics, diesels, lifted stuff, hot rods, inside and out. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. It's a one-stop shop to get into a pool of absolute experts. Join my YouTube channel, John Clay Wolf. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call me America's best car buyer for nothing.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
When I wake up,
the best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle. Shouting. Shout at the devil. I like to usually take this time to see what's going on in the world outside of sports. We do talk a lot of sports, but I thought, it'd be cool if we see what happens away from sports. So yesterday we had a ton of stuff. And today we got a little bit less, but it's all very, very good things. Very, very good. The best things. An officer in Virginia Beach, Virginia, well, technically Hampton Police Department, which apparently is right outside Virginia Beach. They have a police officer who ran into a problem. He got his car stolen and his wallet stolen. That's pretty bad. Now, if I were a cop, I'd be embarrassed to have to go back to the station and say, boss, bad news. I lost my badge, lost my wallet, lost my police car. But it's even worse to say, boss, I was meeting up with a hooker at a hotel room, and
was he on duty?
I don't believe he was on duty.
What's the problem?
Well, he paid for sex. That's against the law.
Don't we all kind of?
Yeah, but he did it with Apple
So he did
Pay.
Cash is dead.
Venmo.
Yeah, cash is dead. You just have to put in a different reason. He shouldn't have put in the eggplant and the water symbol for reason for the transaction.
Yeah, the gal, her name is Alexis Copeland. They call her Dream, is her street name.
All right, Dream to the mainstay.
He had hired her for sex on December 30th, and they met at an apartment in Virginia Beach and had a little romp. Sent her the $100 in Apple Pay, which she had the receipts for. They then decided we're going to take a shower together.
Good for them.
Okay. And she never joined. She never joined the officer in the shower.
He got comfortable, got in the shower, and she absconded with his stuff.
His phone, keys, wallet, and car.
Wow.
Took his car.
Well, his police car.
Respect.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's not going to tell anybody. He's a cop.
He called Virginia Beach police using a neighbor's phone and explained what happened. Court documents show they were able to track down his vehicle. Dream and a man she told the police was her baby daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Dream told the police that the officer had agreed to let her use the car.
Yeah, you can have my car. That's something you scream out right before the end.
Oh, boy. Officer Jerron Harry, who court documents state he admitted to police he had hired her for sex, is not facing any charges. But his employment was terminated.
What?
So they
I'm
said,
not even sure that's illegal anymore.
You can't work here as a police officer anymore, but you're not going to go to jail for trying to buy sex.
Man
so
has
I guess
Yep, well, I'll take it.
It'd been almost 2 months since I had relations.
Couldn't find a horse? Dream was there.
Is this wrong for me to laugh at?
It probably is, AJ. Probably.
There's a viral video going around from a woman in Ohio. A lady got out of her car and had the road rage. She was very angry.
Okay.
And like she stopped in front of this car and like blocked off the road so they couldn't pass her. And then she goes to the driver's side and says, "Get out of the bleeping car."
Okay.
And the gal in the driver's side does not want to get out of the car. So instead, her boyfriend or husband gets out of the car, and it looks like he's the passenger. He goes around to the driver's side and tries to de-escalate the situation.
Okay.
You can't really make out exactly what they're saying other than like she feels like the other car was riding her ass.
Oh, here we go.
Well, he was walking away, and she goes on and smacks him while he's walking away, like hauls off and just lays one on him. And I'm not an advocate of hitting a woman, but this guy decided he was going to hit a woman, and he crushed her and then picked her up and slammed her on the road, and then calmly got in the car and they drove away.
Well, that's what you get.
Don't you fall into those algorithms where you just see one road rage incident after another?
I do, yeah, I do, and I'll sometimes watch 4 or 5 in a row. That's just what I do.
I kind of like the bullies getting beat up. I kind of look forward to
I
that.
like those videos.
I get lost in them. I laugh
on Twitter when it's like bully confronts,
like
or high school kid confronts his bully, and I like that.
Or I like the ones that say Karen doesn't know the law.
Yeah, the Karen stuff.
Karens, how they get all like, get out of there.
My favorite though, my favorite genre is when a drunk guy wants to fight a bouncer.
Oh yeah,
and it's always he's always like, and the bouncer's like, dude, let's just walk away. And then eventually the drunk guy throws like some weird punch where he hits him with kind of his wrist forearm area, and then the bouncer just crushes him.
Yeah,
I love those videos. I love them.
If you ever known any bouncers, they look forward to it too. Come on.
I was a bouncer when I was in the Army. I worked at a live music bar in Clarksville, Tennessee called The Warehouse. Where the two owners.
You sure it wasn't the Roadhouse?
It was the Warehouse.
Right.
We would have like Eddie Rabbit played.
He loves a rainy night.
Yeah. Eddie Money played. Yeah. So we had some big.
That's some pretty good bands, man.
Yeah, Bubba. But the two owners did copious amounts of cocaine, and I was usually like most nights I worked there, I was the door guy. Now this bar in particular, being in a military town, had the worst mix you could have of a clientele. It had soldiers and bikers. And soldiers and bikers go together like nothing.
This was like Roadhouse.
And
were you Patrick Swayze?
No, I was not that handsome. But we had a guy on staff named Luther. And Luther was about 6'8" and probably 380. Just a mountain of a man. He made me feel like a little baby girl when I was standing there. He was just a giant and just a rock of a human. And normally his presence alone would de-escalate things, because I'm about the size where people will say, I bet I could whoop that big guy's ass. I'm not big enough to make people go, there's no way I'd mess with him. Luther was big enough. So, that was my favorite nights, were the nights where somebody thought they were going to take a swing on old Luther. And Luther would pick people up and throw them. And I mean, I've seen people like land in the corner, like, they look like dead bodies, because they'll hit so hard, and they'll just slouch down. And it's the best. Bouncers beating up drunks is the best kind of internet video that you don't masturbate to.
I watch those videos for not nearly as long.
Never take that long.
My interest goes away a lot quicker.
But there, I guess, at least when the video got posted, people are saying, "Well, she kind of got what she got. You want you want equality, now you got it, honey. You got your equality."
FAFO.
And finally, I hope there's none of you guys out there who are engaged.
In general,
I'm sure there's a man who's listening today who's fianced and has decided to commit his life to a woman, and it can be good. But this is a cautionary tale. A male stripper has revealed that working in the industry has taught him that women are just as likely to cheat as men.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Nathan Wild is Australian and a male dancer. God, this guy, what a life he must have. He is 31 years old and says that he has had some pretty wild experiences. I was once doing a party where I'd traveled interstate, and every single one of the girls in the bachelorette party cheated on their partners. He explained that the amount of cheating is abnormal for a bachelorette party, but it isn't uncommon. At 1 out of every 10 parties he works at, some kind of cheating occurs. The numbers would be larger because people aren't forthcoming about their single status and people aren't always double checking. But lots of girls tend to sleep with strippers in general, and they might not tell you they're cheating on their partner with you. Wild said when he started working bachelorette parties, he was surprised by how crazy the girls got, and he figured they behaved no better than men do at stag parties. I think that's what they call them in Australia. The narrative is always that the guys are always the worst, and they F up more, especially in a bachelor party setting. But what shocked me is that women are no different. And they can be worse because they don't think they'll get caught, or their partners are less worried about it in the first place. Now, if you're at a bachelor party, your woman's checking in on you. Now, a woman has a bachelorette party. The man just assumes that, they're drinking White Claws and
no. What the normal man is out
Okay, banging strippers.
I'm not worried about her. I'm going to go do my own thing.
But they think they can get away with it being a girl. So
back in the early '80s, there was a bar here in town that like Thursday nights. Well, I forget the night. It was like male dancer night, and I was a bar back. And they wouldn't let any men in the building till like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And for like 2 hours, the male dancers would come out. And by the way, male dancers work a whole lot harder for their money than women.
Oh,
I mean, they earn it. My respect to those dudes. They're working. But it was a feeding frenzy in there. It was not safe to be a man walking around in there. They were grabbing. I mean, it was crazy. So I learned a long time ago that the women that show up for that kind of thing, they're there for a reason.
Yeah. They're there to party.
Ooh, boy, fresh meat.
Yep. Oh, and especially imagine you were like a 6'5" shredded Australian dude.
Well, see, and the women are allowed to do more to the dancers than men could ever do to the women.
Yeah,
they're grabbing nuts and berries
It's generally accepted that they're going to put their hands on these people. And like you put your hands on a stripper, like you're going to
meet Luther.
You'll meet Luther.
You're going to be
end up in a corner.
Door. So it's a very different environment.
Yeah, what a life that would be. What a life. One that you and I will never have.
I hung up the old banana sling years ago.
Yeah, I didn't hang it
hung
up.
The dancer, put up the bow
I didn't
tie
hang it up because it still feels good.
I still do it for my wife, but I have to stretch out.
I wear it at public swimming pools. So
birthdays.
What's gross about that, dude? I also go into the steam room in the sauna butt naked.
That's very European.
I hate when people do that. That's like my biggest gym pet peeve. I don't understand why anyone wants to do that.
No towel or nothing?
No towel, nothing. They're just in there, or they put the towel on the
just
on the wood, and then they'll sit there.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
No, man. I don't need, and like, what's it really saving you?
Well, it just shows that your nuts can actually touch the floor. Like, I don't know how that's even possible,
it's
dude.
always old people. It's always
Put that
old
away,
people.
Man. You're going to scare the kids.
I don't know if they grew up in a time when it was like just didn't wear
you just did it.
Shorts in the sauna, but like that there's a generation that thinks it's okay to, and not only okay, but like
it's European,
culturally appropriate to wear.
They're free
nothing.
thinking with their bodies.
No,
they're much more open with it than we are.
All right, when we come back, we'll do what we always do to wrap up the show and take a look at the daily lines. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I got to tell you about Game Day Men's Health. And as you fellas know, we all reach an age. We all reach that age where things they're not clicking the way that they once did. And it could be low testosterone to blame. And Game Day Men's Health has the solution for you, friends. They and not only do they have the solution, they have a convenient way to get the solution to you, that's what I'm all about. They're at 250 East Bassey Road, conveniently located. And here's the deal. There's not a bunch of trips you got to make. You go once, they're gonna draw your blood, give you a free blood test, free testosterone test, check your results on site, and then they're gonna sit down. You're gonna sit down with a licensed provider. They're gonna discuss your options. You're gonna choose what's best for you. You can get your treatment on the spot. Be on your way. That's what I did. Door to door took me less than an hour. Less than an hour. I didn't want to do this because I didn't want to take up a bunch of my time. That's not the case at Game Day Men's Health, man. Don't settle. Be the best version of yourself. If you don't have the energy you did for the gym, maybe your libido's not what it used to be, you don't want to be disappointed in the wife. She's going to end up at a bachelorette party if you do. You don't want that. So be the best version of you. Call Game Day, 210-900-3691. That's 210-900-3691. Feel better, be better. It's Game Day.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down! Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her driving, just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
What's up, football fans? BetMGM is giving you the chance to win up to $250,000 in bonus bet credits. It's all part of BetMGM's longest touchdown jackpot, where you could be able to split the grand prize with anyone else who bet on the longest touchdown of the week. Log into your BetMGM account today and opt into the promo. Then place an anytime touchdown wager of $10 or more on the player of your choice, up to one player per game. If your player scores the longest touchdown of the week, you'll win a share of the $250K in credits. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. BetMGM's longest touchdown jackpot subject to rules. See BetMGM.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are unrestricted rewards credits that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
I heard the boys this morning on the Morning Huddle talking about people that get divorced now in North Korea have to go to a labor camp for 6 months.
How much do you really want to get away from her?
Exactly. I think I would have done that.
First one or second?
Second.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, this is Greeny. Join me today at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Herbie Hancock, right?
Yeah.
The musical genius.
He is a genius. There's no question, because this was not him. He's a jazz musician. This was a one-off.
Boom, bum.
Remember the video of the robots dancing?
Yeah. I'll move it over there.
What year was this?
81, 82.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was 10 or 11 going. I remember buying it, too.
I had this on my 8-track.
Yeah, I have the 45, the small 45.
God, you guys are old.
Yeah.
Well, let's put a bow on the show the way we always do with the Daily Lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the Daily Lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Daily Lines brought to you by SA Card House, San Antonio's premier card house located at 281 and Bitters. I think tomorrow I'm going to be back on the tables, baby. Back on the tables. And you knock me out of that tournament, get yourself your entry fee back just like that. All you got to do is, say hello. Say you,
and wear gloves.
Yeah, I'll be wearing gloves probably.
Protect yourself.
But love my guys over at SA Card House. All right, let's dig into let's start in the NFL because now the lines are up for all 4 games. The Houston Texans, 7.5 or 8-point favorites, depending on where you look, at the Kansas City Chiefs. Total is 42.5.
Not favorites.
They are dogs. Sorry,
Yeah,
Texans are dogs.
Yeah.
7.5 or 8-point dogs at Kansas City.
Boy, if it gets to 7, I like it.
I like the Texans.
You like it at 8?
I like it. I like the Texans at 8, and I like the under 42.5.
I'd like the under.
From what
at 8?
I mean, who did the Chiefs blow out?
I'm not fighting you on it.
But I mean, it's all they do is. Do I think the Texans are going to win? No. Do I think the Chiefs will win by 3 points, like they do every single week? More than likely, and especially knowing that the Chiefs have the winner of Baltimore-Buffalo on deck, the Chiefs aren't going to show all their cards this week.
They're not going to have to.
They're going to survive in advance. I want to pull up the weather for Kansas City. The forecast for Saturday is a low of 12 degrees, a high of 27 on Saturday.
Stroud played at Ohio State. I mean, he's used to some cold weather, but it doesn't help the Texans at all. This is not a beneficiary. That doesn't help any. Mixon can play in it. I mean, it's not going to be a total detriment. It's not Miami, for goodness sake, but it ain't the best possible place to be.
It's still an indoor football team being asked to go outside. Yeah, it's that's a tough road environment for sure. The other Saturday game is between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. The Commanders, 9.5-point favorites, or 9.5-point dogs, pardon me, at Detroit. Total in that one's 55.5. I think if I catch a full 10 points, I'll back the Commanders. Otherwise, I'm probably staying away from this game.
A lot of offense, though. Keep in mind, Detroit's defense is banged up on all 3 levels.
Washington's defense has played really well the last few weeks. And if you, and you're right, injuries are a part of this, but, over the last 5 weeks, if you look at the DVOA for these 2 defenses, Washington's top 5, Detroit's bottom 5.
But this is, you get the sense that a team like Washington now has what they came here for. They've got the playoff win. They're ahead of schedule. They got the win on the road. I don't expect a whole lot from the Commanders this weekend. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of resistance.
I think if the Commanders win, it has to be a high-scoring game.
It's going to be a lot of points, but I don't think a lot of resistance will be held. I think Detroit will do what they want to do until they're tired of doing it.
By double digits?
Yeah, I think so.
Sunday. Rams at the Eagles. The Eagles 6-point home favorites. I'll just go ahead and say it now. I love the Rams here.
I was going to say, man, you better look out, Eagle fan. This could end in great sadness.
I got news for you, man. Jalen Hurts is not playing all that well.
Could be his last game as a starter for the Eagles. I'm not kidding.
I don't know about that, but what I know is if it weren't, and I've said this before, and people have differing opinions on it. I think turnovers a lot of the time are lucky. I think they happen and then they don't. I think it's that's why that turnover-worthy play stat that Pro Football Focus does is so valuable, because how often is a guy throwing an interception that shouldn't be an interception?
Well, I think turnovers are like betting a hot golfer. Some teams just get hot for a minute and they grab them.
But Herbert threw 4 picks. 2 of them, he threw the perfect ball, and they go through his receiver's hands. Mm-hmm. So, so should he be punished? Or should we think of him as much for those interceptions as we do for the 2 that he just threw a bad ball on? I don't think that's right. But if you take away the 3 turnovers, and of course 3 turnovers happened, you're not going to win any playoff games when you lose the turnover battle 3-0. If you take out the turnovers, though, the Packers played the Eagles even.
Yes, they did, and there's no question
they
that
might have outplayed the Packers.
Physically,
or
they
outplayed the Eagles.
They were equal in physicality. They were equal to what was the Eagles thought they were the most dominant defense in football.
Yeah,
they came in thought we hit harder, we play harder. Now Baltimore would argue with them, but the fact is that's what they believed, and they left that game thinking we just got beat up. They won, but they got beat up.
Now, I don't love, if I'm as someone who plans on backing the Rams, I don't love that the weather in Philadelphia is going to be in the 30s and snowing. That's not ideal, but
I don't think the Rams are going to beat them. I don't.
Well,
I
don't need to beat them
much.
I just need to cover.
Right, and I do think that's why I pay so close attention to this. But when we start, if the lower the total, the more likely the Rams win the game. The lower it goes, if they start talking to me about 45, 44 points, that's a Ram win, man.
Well, the total's 43.5.
See, that's a Ram win. They're telling me the Rams are going to win this game.
And then Freedom Ride says he gets to see his 2 favorite NFL quarterbacks go head-to-head in a playoff matchup. He must be talking about – I know who he's talking about. He must be talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
No, it's not that one.
I know it's not. I was just giving him a brief.
Which is, in fact, the Super Bowl this weekend. But we won't get into
what
that.
a game we've got. The Bills host the Ravens. And I'm going to say this, and this is not a I'm not misstepping on this one. The Buffalo Bills are 1.5-point home underdogs to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens favored in Buffalo.
Sucks, and it's a motivating factor, but I don't agree with it. But if I was an odds guy, I would put it right in with a point. It'd almost be a pick 'em.
I think it'd be a pick 'em. I expected a pick 'em. I didn't think the Ravens would be favored in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Because the Ravens looked really good this weekend, no doubt, but so did the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I expect the Bills to shut down the Ravens' offense the way they did Denver's? No, because Denver's offense is ass and the Ravens is really good. The Ravens are going to get theirs. The total in that game's 51.5. But I think Buffalo's offense is I think they're going to have a day too. Just like it was the Ravens weren't going against Josh Allen this last weekend. That was Russell Wilson throwing those ducks. Josh Allen's going to be, I think he's going to be in for a little bit bigger game than that. Now, this one matters less because both these teams are used to playing in crummy weather. But it does look like it's going to be in the teens, like the mid-teens, with a 20% chance of precipitation. So
take away the usual suspects, the obvious ones. Who's the most important guy? Apart from the quarterbacks and the running backs and the wide receivers, who's the guy you go, that's going to be my barometer? This guy plays well, has a game, they're going to win for Buffalo.
Probably Matt Milano. He has to make the Bills don't have the kind of pass rush that the AFC North teams have. They don't have a Myles Garrett or a Trey Hendrickson or a TJ Watt. So they've got Von Miller, but they don't have Von Miller from 5 years ago. So it's going to be really important for the linebackers, I think, to contain Lamar to an extent and not let him break off these big runs on you. And it's kind of what happened last week. Was the Steelers decided we're going to throw everything we can at Derrick Henry.
Right.
And when Lamar runs, okay, he runs. And unfortunately for the Steelers, they just couldn't stop Derrick Henry even when they were throwing everything at him.
And that's Buffalo's going to have to deal with the same thing.
Agreed. Yeah, but I also think, again, if Buffalo can – the Steelers were playing from behind that game. If you let the Ravens get up 14-0 on you, the game's over. But on the other side of that coin, I think if the Bills get up 14-0, the Ravens are not likely to come back.
No, they're not built for it.
The Ravens, I don't know if Zay Flowers is going to be back. I'm assuming Zay Flowers is not going to be back. So And the Ravens had no downfield passing game.
For me, as far as the guy it's going to be Andrews. Tight end has to have a game.
I mean, he hardly did anything in the Steelers game.
If I'm Buffalo, I'm not letting Derrick Henry dominate this
That's what
game.
you have to do.
I'm just not going to let it. So the counter to that, if I'm Baltimore, is I got to get it over the top and get it to my tight end.
Kevin, my favorite SA Card House dealer, says morning. That's nice.
There
You
you
got
go,
see, he's going to deal me some good ones
You're gonna
tomorrow.
have to tip him now.
What a guy. What a guy Kevin is. So, yeah, I think Buffalo is I don't think Buffalo should be an underdog here. I'm worried about them in the game. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can look at this objectively, quite frankly.
I don't think you can. I will say this. For Buffalo to win the game, Josh Allen is going to be
he's got to be the MVP.
Superhuman. He's going to have to be that, and he's fully capable of it. And I expect him to be awfully damn close.
Yep.
I expect he's going to play the game of his life.
In the NBA, Cavs are at the Pacers. Cavs 8-point favorites on the road in Indiana.
Wow.
Pacers just broke that long win streak that the Cavs had. Thunder 11.5-point favorites in Philly. That actually sounds about right. Phoenix 5.5-point favorites at Atlanta. And remember, never mind. Wrong. He didn't play. The Suns 5.5 favorites at the Hawks. Kings 2-point dogs in Milwaukee. That's
Only
a short number.
Yeah.
Pelicans plus 1.5 at Chicago.
Zion.
Chicago feels short, man.
Well, Zion effect, man.
Well, I mean, is he going to play?
I think. Well,
he played one game and then he was like, "Well, I'm gone."
That number tells me they think he's going to play.
Must be. Nuggets -4 at Dallas. Still a shorthanded Dallas team. And the Blazers 6-point favorite. I didn't think the Blazers would be a 6-point favorite over anyone this year.
Against
the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's how you get it done. In college hoops, we got a pretty solid day of college hoops on tap today. We've got we're starting, I should say, with I don't know why I brought up yesterday's Mississippi State at Auburn. No John I. Broome.
It's going to be a minute before John I's
devastating.
back. Yeah,
he is so good. Mississippi State, a 7.5-point dog at Auburn. I'm so scared to bet against Auburn in the jungle.
Don't.
But Mississippi State is really good.
Don't be afraid. I bet Auburn in this game. Did you see how they played after he went down?
Yeah.
They're not as trustworthy in the half court, but they're awfully
fast. They almost
fast.
lost to South Carolina, and South Carolina's no good.
South Carolina's got one player, but they got awfully fast. When John I went down, they started running the ball and pressing to get themselves back into it, and I think that's going to keep a nice spread.
Ole Miss is at Alabama. Alabama 11.5-point favorites. Ole Miss is really good. That's a big number, but Alabama's been blowing teams out.
Ask the Aggies.
Marquette, a 13.5-point favorite at DePaul. DePaul has yet to cover in Big East play. I don't expect they start tonight.
It's not happening tonight, no.
Texas A&M, a 6.5-point dog at Kentucky. You can hear that game, I believe. You can hear that on our station? Yay or nay?
Sure you can.
I would assume you can. I don't have it. It's not listed on my sheet.
Tell you for sure. As we got the pregame starting at 5:30. Tip at 6 right here.
There you go.
Your sports star.
No Wade Taylor though for the Aggies, which means there's going to be a bunch of guys throw. The game plan will remain the same for A&M. Just chuck up bad shots and try to get as many rebounds as possible. That seems to be the Aggie offense.
It works.
Illinois, 3.5-point favorite at Indiana. I think Illinois spanks Indiana.
What's his name? Shiropoulos, or their player. Is he still out? He's got a forearm
I'm not
issue.
sure yet. I know Renault is still out for Indiana. He's a game-time decision.
Watch that. You're gonna bet.
Miami at Duke. Duke 23.5-point favorites. I do think Miami's quit, though. I don't want to. That's a huge number, but Miami's 4-12. Their season's over. They're all in the transfer portal. Nobody wants to play. That is a dead team walking. Florida laying 10.5, hosting Mizzou. Florida is incredible at home. No way I'm fading them at home. Wisconsin -6.5, hosting Ohio State. That's another one. I'll take the home Big Ten team. Ohio State struggled on the road. And then Baylor's at Arizona. Arizona -5.5.
That's a game of the night right there.
I like Arizona there. You're not watching that. It comes on at 10 o'clock.
I'm watching it, baby.
That's the Daily Lines, brought to you by our good friends over at SA Card House, San Antonio's premier card house. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Blitz coming up at 2, and then, like we said, an Aggie Hoop coming up after that. We'll see you tomorrow on Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports.